Hey, chat. And I guess this is more of a Twitch-esque thing, but I want to find a way to include my Rumble people in it because we generally don't count the like I don't have the sub bar for Rumble streams at the moment, or like Rumble members. You could become a member on Rumble. I think it's like $5 a month. But I have a new goal up there for October, and I know we're kind of in the middle of October, or at least 9 days in. I think if we hit this goal, I'm gonna do a 12-hour stream. I was very. It was actually interesting that I found out that I didn't do a 12-hour stream in like a year before the Drake stream. So I think if we get to the 1,000 sub mark, and I got to figure it out because we stream on so many different platforms. I think if we get there this month, I'll do another 12-hour stream. Okay, it probably won't be associated with an album. Or maybe it will. Who knows who's dropping? Actually, I've heard some albums is dropping, so we'll be getting some shit in. Anyway, welcome to my people on Rumble. Welcome to my people on Twitch, YouTube. You are welcome to be here as well. And, of course, my people on Facebook. How y'all feeling? Somebody said 12 hours ain't shit. Man, you got to realize I'm trying to make it entertaining. We're going to have to work our way up to 24, honestly. We're going to have to work our way up to 24. I feel like a normal stream these days for me is 4 to 5 hours. I like a great stream is like 6 hours. Anything above that is like me giving y'all bonus time, right? Because it's hard to kind of keep that energy up for all those hours. Anyway, yeah. Cool. Let me just make sure everybody's online. We're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to get into some YNW Melly stuff. I didn't get into that as I wanted to. When we did our last stream, we pretty much just argued about Drake the whole time. We're not going to do that today. We are going to definitely talk about Drake. The conversation around his album still continues, and we're still definitely going to be talking about it. By the way, if you guys send in donations, I'll definitely read all the donos that come in. Just give me some time. By the way, Papa Lee, thank you for the 10. He says, big up yourself. Act really odd one thing. Where you from? Jamaica? I know you're from Jamaica, but you there now, or are you up here? Okay, cool. I'm going to tell you some fallout that's happened thus far. I talked to Drake. Yes. Actually, let's start there. So, remember last stream, right? Again, just that everybody knows. And again, I know some people, there's some people, I won't even call them fans. I would just call them people who want to be entertained. That they watch these streams and they they have a selection bias in the sense that they want to see whatever is the most entertaining, right? So whatever that fits their narrative, they're going to go with. For example, act salty over a call. You know what I mean? I think people, you would know if I was salty over a call or something like that. But those people are always going to exist, right? But there's the people who actually kind of get, at least what's going on. And I guess I explained it for you guys. But anyway, I'll give you an update. So we talked about the album last time. And I remember I told you Drake hit me up during stream, right? So, I didn't hit him back. I kind of just, everything's live. So I told you, I was like, yo, Drake hit me up. I didn't really tell you everything he said. But, not everything was too nice. I'm going to be honest. But he was like, yo, damn, bro, you salty? And I was just like, where did he get that from? Now, we actually, we sent messages back and forth afterwards. And here's the hilarious part about it, which I figured. So Drake hits me back, right? Because I responded after I got off stream. And he hits me back and he says, yo, dog, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even watch the stream. Yachty hit me up and told me, yo, why act going crazy on you? I'm like, what? Yo, Yachty. Real talk, that's what he said. He said, yo, act, when I hit you with that message, I wasn't even watching. He was like, yo, I think he was performing, right? Remember, he did 2 nights. He was like, yo, I had the best nights of my life. He really had fun just closing out that tour and celebrating this album release in Toronto. And he was just like, bro, I was just I was on an all-time high. I had the best night of my life. And he was like, yeah, I didn't watch it. So he's like, yo, I'm just, I'm, and not that Yachty told him some crazy, but Yachty was just like, yo, Drake, why this nigga act going crazy on you like that? So he didn't really see or understand or even know any contextual premise around anything I said. So I think that's where me and him started. That's where his message came from, and I'm hoping he probably saw shit afterwards, because for him to admit that, that's probably him saying, "Yo, bro, what I said initially was me blindly, like, my man's told me you was wilding, so I'm like, yo, bro, whatever." And he also clarified on the Joe Budden thing, and we're gonna talk about a few of those things. Again, I'm not gonna make this all dragged out, because we can't drag this one issue out for like 2 weeks, but that's what he said. Everything I said on stream, I said plus more to him again. And I said, listen, for me, and this is very important for me, it's very important that Drake doesn't feel like he's above criticism. I don't care. We're the ones who made it popular and made it now that it's normal to call him a GOAT. He is the GOAT. But that doesn't mean that should give him an ego that says nobody could tell me shit. That's a very dangerous place to be. That's just being honest. Everybody deserves critique. Me too. Like, even if you watch me every day, like, you might be like, yo, I like when you used to do this better, or damn, shit, them streams back then was hitting more. It is what it is. And even if I disagree, I should be able to listen to what you're saying or read it or whatever. And even if I just disregard it, I shouldn't take it that personal, right? So that was mainly my message, right? And secondly, my message was, dog, we hold you to a higher standard. You're getting judged on a really unrealistic standard. And, I don't even think that there's any apology needed for why you're being judged this, meticulously, because it's a reason why we called you the GOAT. You have a different standard than everybody else. He did speak a little bit about Joe, and he explained to me, and let me see. We're going to get into, because I've seen Birdman. A lot of people have jumped into this. This is crazy now. He explained to me a little bit about the Joe thing. By the way, I think Joe's going to do a pod soon. I don't know. Did Joe drop a pod today? His next pod is probably going to be addressing a lot of these things. However, I'll give you the gist of kind of what he pretty much told me. Because I think he also told me why he reacted to Joe like that, right? Because remember, I'm like, yo, bro, you the GOAT, but you got to be able to take criticism. Like, what's going on here, right? And he's like, no. He's like, the criticism is not the problem. He's like, yo, if Joe or you, anyone else, y'all get on your platform, y'all like my album, don't like it, y'all hate it, that's all good. Like, if you're just talking about the music, that is all good, right? And I think, by the way, our conversation chat, I think we were pretty much talking about music, right? So, I think that's why he was trying to tell us, oh, I didn't hear exactly what you said. With Joe, though, I think because it was plastered all over social media. Remember, I was doing it live. His shit was all on Instagram, this and third. He said with Joe, and I think he reached out to Joe, he said, he pretty much gave me a gist of the convo. He's like, he told Joe, like, yo, bro, just don't get on your platform and talk about me like you don't respect me. You know what I mean? Like, don't talk about me like there isn't some respect there between us as men. And he's like, yo, just don't get on there talking spicy about me as a person, right? It's like, if you don't like the music or you do like the music, those are all opinions that are entitled to you. But if you get up on there, and I think he specifically said it was just like, you start like aiming like super personal shots at me about me and my character and just how I'm living in terms of, yo, you're hanging with little niggas, and yo, you're running around here fucking all the 25-year-old women. And he's like, yo, this thing is just making this shit up. Like, that's not actually even reality. Like, you know what I mean? But that's a personal shot. He's like, of course I'm going to take it a certain type of way. The dude is attacking me personally based on him having a critique over the music, right? And you know what? I understood that. So, again, I think him and Joe have a different relationship. But, my whole thing is we kind of continue during this album cycle. By the way, I think Drake is very, I seen him post on his Instagram recently. He posted the comments that people said about Take Care when it first came out. Like, that was a very mixed review type album, right? And at first, a lot of people were like, this shit's soft. Yo, this ain't what hip hop is, blah, blah. As the months went by, people were like, this shit is tough. Then as the months went by, they're like, yo, this is one of the best albums. As the years went by, it became, that was undoubtedly a classic, right? So I guess he was just like, yo, listen, and even he told me this too. He said, Ack, the most important probably thing he told me about, because I'm giving him this critique. Again, I'm not going to say something on stream I wouldn't say to him. a one-on-one conversation, and he said, "Listen, you know," he said, "take some time." He says, "Just take some time with it." He's like, "I've heard this before. I've heard." He's like, "Some of what you're telling me, some of the critiques you have, I've heard this before, and I usually know. I think I'm a good gauge." That's what he's telling me. He's like, "I think I'm a good gauge of how the story ends. Take some time with it." And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that's a fair thing. That's a fair thing to say. And I told him, I said, "Listen, I didn't judge the whole album in its totality, but I do have critique on some of the direction. I have some critique on some of the flows. I have some critique on even just the inspiration, right?" And yeah, that was pretty much the convo that kind of preceded this. Obviously, for the people who are here or who are watching, some of y'all gonna come up with a few opinions. Yo, act. Yo, don't you see Drake's manipulating you? That's a good one they're gonna throw out. Second, they're gonna be like, yo, bro, yo, you gotta get off his dick, bro. Like, whatever. Also, some people's gonna be like, yeah, you're just looking for acknowledgement. So when he responds to you, now you speak about him in a more open. No, hey, the reality of this is, I think the thought that Drake not calling into my stream would make me biased is such a ridiculous thing. I've supported Drake 10 times more when I never ever talked to him. I didn't know who, I didn't even know if he knew who I was. You get what I mean? So to now feel like I'm an entitled, like he has to call. And by the way, here's the thing too. Him not calling into the stream, that's really for y'all. That's for, us as a community, but it's for y'all. It's not like the nigga not answering me. Like, he's like, we're communicating, right? And by the way, I really don't give a fuck about talking to him when the music comes out like that. I did tell him this though, and this is, I'm gonna show you how honest I am. I said, I said to him, I said, I feel offended that you would think that my opinion on your album is because you didn't call into my stream. That's not what it is, right? I was like, yo, I basically said, yo, I don't give a fuck about that. I will be honest, if there was something I was gonna care about, nigga, when I asked you for them tickets and you ain't responded, I felt the way about that. But this, like, you not calling into his stream, nigga, you unwarrantedly, like, you gotta remember, I didn't hit Drake up that night when we listened to the shit. He hit me up. He said, yo, act. Yo, he said, call me. I walked away from the mic. It was kind of muted, so only people in Discord heard it. He didn't care if we're on the mic, but I'm just out of courtesy for somebody. You know, I'm a live streamer. I walk away. I say, yo, by the way, I was on stream. I walked away. You know, I ain't gonna put your personal. And he's like, yo, no, I ain't tripping over it. He's like, they could hear whatever. He's like, yo, you ready? And I'm like, I'm ready. He's like, yo, tomorrow, I'm dropping this shit. He's like, I'm gonna call you at midnight. That was the conversation. You get what I mean? So, you know, I know people want to make it like I'm some salty person over a call. That's not it, bro. Like, come on, like, no. If it was anything I would ever be salty over, it would be them tickets. And I still went to the fucking concert, all of them. You know what I mean? I had tickets to give away to mad people. Anyway, I guess that part was just me at least kind of, you know, because I read certain comments sometimes, and the comments are so far from reality. They're like, yo, look, Ak is hurting. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? But okay. So yeah, that's what he told me about Joe so far. By the way, two interesting things. Birdman went on Clubhouse. Whack 100 was trying to get me on there, but I think I was tied up with some shit. So Birdman goes on Clubhouse, addresses a bunch of stuff. Also, Joe Budden happened to be on Clubhouse, which is a little bit random. I thought Clubhouse was like damn near dead other than Whack, but he got on there and he pretty much tried to respond a bit. And I guess this is going to be the preview. Joe Budden, let me see. This is going to be the preview of what I think is going to be on this podcast. Joe Budden, Drake Clubhouse. Yeah, he was on Clubhouse like literally, it was like yesterday or something like that. You know what I mean? Let me see. Where is it? Yo, wait, fuck. He was on Clubhouse. Do you know where I can find that clip? Actually, give me a second. I'm gonna find it right now. By the way, also, right before I get to that, I'm gonna address it, but let me find this real quick. Okay. Okay, I found it. All right, I'll put it up in a second. What's it called? Joe Budden. Joe Budden responds to Drake. This week. Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh my God, I can't. What's the name of the channel? Sorry, chat. Content Chunk? What the fuck? Okay, I got the channel. All right. So, and this is, honestly, even though I've talked, and by the way, I spent a considerable amount of time, like, even kind of just explaining what I believe a core Drake fan is feeling about this album, but also why we are going to have critique and just where we are with that shit. Like, just in all honesty, I think Drake has had a phenomenal part of his career. He's the greatest ever, but bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, nigga, you ain't bigger than some criticism. Like, and I would never want the artists who have supported it for 15 years to feel like now because we have celebrated him as the greatest, he just feels like, fuck all you niggas, anything I do, you better accept. That's just not how the game is played. And critique is always important. So, oh yeah. And honestly, for me, I'm looking at where Drake is at and how he's moving since his album has dropped. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, it's Nicki Minaj-esque. And I clown Nicki, but I give it up fair across the board. Like, I've never seen Drake so caring of what the conversation seems to be in the moment that he might seem bothered. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's Nicki Minaj. Like Nicki Minaj is like typing and tweeting all day and liking stuff. Like, she's like 70 doing that, right? Like, we expected of her. That's like Nicki's thing, right? That's kind of what turns a lot of people off of her, because even though she's a legend, the greatest female rapper of all time, she's like super like anal and trying to like control the conversation. And if somebody says something she don't like, it's a hate train. And we've never seen Drake act like that, despite what they say. Sometimes it like, think about when Drake dropped even Duppy Freestyle, which I believe he out-rapped Pusha T, right? Some people said, nah, Pusha got the best of him, especially because he didn't respond. And, Pusha said the whole thing about the Adonis. I don't think Drake was that defensive. I think he just continued on. He dropped motherfucking Scorpion, and we just kept moving on. So we've never seen Drake and I hate to, for the Nicki fans here, I'm not trying to like just diss her, but that's how Nicki acts. Like, Nicki seems fragile and she's like play this. Nicki and Cardi B, if we look at a totality conversation, they're not even in the same discussion, yet you'll see Nicki throwing subliminals at Cardi B because she's bothered. You get what I mean? I guess that's what it is. When I say Drake acting like Nicki, that means bothered. Like, you know what I mean? I don't like, who cares what I like, but you could tell when an artist is bothered. I see that with Nicki a lot. Nicki's bothered at Stormy, Travis Scott, everybody who she claims is screwing her, instead of just saying, all right, I'll come back better with something else, or, hey, to each his own. Sometimes you just got to chalk it up. To each his own. All right, bet. Joe, this wasn't for you. To each his own, brother. Right? Now, again, Joe did go personal, so I agree with him on, whatever. But, like, for example, with Drake, I see Drake, like he's commented a few times, and then even, like, his captions seem Nicki-esque, where it seems he might be bothered. Like everything is written, I thank God for this life and not having to come to rush conclusions on Best Buy podcast mics. You know why I find this a little bit odd? Because Drake, by his own actions, seems like he doesn't feel a need to really interact with hip-hop media. And again, it's not about interviews or has he interviewed with Joe or whoever else in the culture. Is, hey, listen, I do think he's at the point he doesn't need to do it, right? But you can't, but it looks a way when you don't do it, when you don't communicate with them, but you're bothered by their opinions. Because you're so big when you don't do hip hop interviews, the conversation, I've seen people have this conversation, and this is probably true. Is the hip hop interview even needed nowadays? Like these days, you'll see the Offset's, like the biggest part of his media week or media run is going to be the Kai Cenat, right? It's not going to a hip hop outlet answering hip hop questions. So if people are having these conversations, like, bro, is hip hop media even really necessary? That's a legit conversation to have based on how the artists releasing music are going about promoting the music. Absolutely. But here's the thing, you can't react, your actions can't be of, you guys aren't as relevant, yet you're reacting to their words. You get what I mean? It's hypocritical, if you ask me. Anyway, he posted up this thing, like a bunch of pictures, and he just slid like a picture in there with, it's the fedora hat case, and it's like it's actually a cropped out picture of Joe that you could kind of see on my page here. However, let me show you the picture. Yeah, the full picture is this, right? The full picture is this. Okay. He also had another, like, I feel like all of his captions are kind of like talking about that, right? Okay, not this, but this one. It says, wait, stop typing. You gonna post and come say to my face, give a fuck what a strange stranger gotta say. It's absolutely no way. If you want to take it there, let's go all the way. God forbid I call Chubbs to call away. But anyway, I could call on almost anybody from round the way. And it's the opposite of Valentine's Day. You play your songs and I literally, on them shits like Trey, I'm a top tier lyricist. It's soft talks for all my solid ladies with the Shakira hips, the monolith, the all-seeing eye in the 6. I'm the optometrist. Shit was on 5 when I arrived and I had to turn to 6 like Adonis. I really deserve a monument outside the consulate. I am Drizzy Abramovich. I'm Drizzy Abramovich. But at the end of the night, when the sky get bright, we all just some Toronto kids, right? And again, by the way, shit, this kind of sounds fire. I hope this is on song. But I will say that it appears that Drake is, he's kind of reacting to what people are saying. There was a reviewer supposedly that reviewed the album, but kind of trashed it. And when they trashed the album, Drake put the reviewer's face up on his story. So Drake is reacting to people. By the way, this is what he put up for the views thing, right? So this is what the comments were on the views thing. We'll get to that in a second. But he's Drake knows he has 143 million Instagram followers. If some random person who I don't even know the person, right? He put her face up on the thing. If you go find her, you go watch what she was talking about. She was talking about Drake's album. It was a negative review. Clearly, it was almost like a Nicki Minaj-esque trick. When Nicki will try to get her fans to go bully somebody, be like, yeah. So I was like, that's kind of odd. Like Drake doesn't do that. I don't know Drake to do that. Drake is a person who, like, I just think he's always played the social media shit so amazing and so perfect that even in what you might call a loss, he still wins. Like, even the Pusha T thing, I still think, just optics-wise, he still won, right? So it was kind of odd. I was but then he posted this up, and these are some of the comments from when Take Care dropped. He said, I agree with the review. Drake lost some respect with this one. In my own opinion, he should have had backdated the release and done a better CD. I think this album was weak, repetitive, boring. At times, nothing new, nothing exciting, same old, blah. Too much singing for me. I'm obviously a gangster. I don't fuck around. Okay? And he pretty much was saying, damn. He says, reading these comments from when Take Care dropped. Basically saying he's laughing at how people reacted to that album then to now people all call that album classic, right? Yeah. And let me see what else. Yeah, I don't think he's really put up anything else that's kind of... But all I'm saying is that this feels... Is this Pharrell? Oh, that's Yeet. This does feel like a different response to his music being out that I've ever seen. It feels more Nicki than Drake in his social media responses. And again, I'm pretty sure he would have a response to this like, yo, bro, like, nigga, I told you I only lashed out at Drake, lashed out at Joe because he went personal. But I do think he seems like he's monitoring if people don't like this, and he cares a lot in the moment, rather than say, you know what, say what y'all gonna say. I'm gonna come back in 2 months and see if y'all still feel the same, right? Okay, I'll move on for that, but I'll get to the Joe Budden thing. So Joe Budden was on Clubhouse last night, and this was Joe responding, or actually kind of like carrying on the conversation about why he said what he said on the podcast. Here we go.
With Eric, know what it takes to be here a year. If you don't, because
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's why I said let someone else speak. That's why I said not Annie, not Annie, and not Bang. Hey, Bang. No, but wait. But sometimes hold on, Bang. You're not old enough to really have this conversation.
How? I want to hear why you feel like that. I'm 31 years old.
Oh shit, Bang is 31?
Yeah.
I thought you was way younger.
You just act like that.
Nah, bro, I'm a fan of you, bro. I grew up on you, bro.
Outside while it's called.
Yeah, I grew up on you. I watched, like, since I've been in hip hop, bro, I watched you, everything you did, bro. Video games, music, your podcast, I watched your entire transition.
All right, hold up. Let me walk outside, man, because you're making me. Don't let the dogs bark. All right. Okay, so now tell me why you feel like what I said was personal.
No, because you said he like rapping like a kid, like he appealing to the kids, and
that's
it's like,
exactly
bro,
that's exactly what he did.
He is, but he also appealing to a wider audience than I feel like you ever had to.
Whoa! That negates the point.
How?
We already know about the audience he is appealing to, but he managed to rap sort of like what I'm saying on Her Loss. He appealed to that same audience. This particular album, there is none of that. It's a lot of songs that should have been on Yachty's album. It's a few songs that just sound like it's for the TikTok young streaming demo, which is cool. But when you are the leader of the pack, you choose how to dictate. So it's disappointing to hear him sound like Lil Uzi Vert or Travis Scott or Playboy Cardi or all of these niggas he's trying to mimic. Drake don't need Lil Yachty in the studio to help him with nothing. That nigga's Jesus in this shit damn near. Yachty does not.
By the way, I think Joe saying that Drake was sounding like Playboy Cardi and Uzi, that's hyperbole, which means he's just exaggerating a lot. I think he was just basically saying that new young crowd, and even now we got to be honest, like, ain't Uzi about to be 30. So again, Uzi isn't really the youngest. It's the Destroy Lonely and the Ken Carsons and the Yeats, and there's like almost a new underground that really, you know, the kids are paying attention to, definitely on TikTok and other places, but they haven't gotten that mainstream shine yet.
I need to be there. The older you get in music, you shouldn't be less vulnerable. Drake is at the top. You shouldn't have been more vulnerable earlier in your career. You shouldn't have been a better rapper earlier in your career. And if that's still there, which it clearly is, because he'll Instagram some bars. That shit he Instagram was heat this morning. Whatever the one that ended with the Toronto kids. That was heat. Nigga, put
just read that.
On a project. I'm a core Drake fan. So, yeah, I was there for comeback season.
By the way, you know, as I listened to this conversation, and remember when me and Boom were talking, I was realizing, you know, first of all, I don't think none of this stuff is that, like, personal and, like, people, like, trying to get it. Well, Joe did get a little personal, but for the rest of people, I think we're finally seeing Drake's fan base has always been, like, this huge monolith where even if you're 40 or you're 17, you're almost still okay with the content. I think we're finally at the point where everybody who is 31, 32 plus, right, that listen to Drake, and the niggas who are in their 20s and teens that listen to Drake, there's beef. There's beef because now the music, like Drake, one thing about Drake, he's always been great at making music for like this palette of people where international people would be fed. People who love R&B would be fed. The hip hop purists who are backpack niggas who would be fed. Like, he would make music for a wide variety and a range of people, which is, by the way, always made it tough for him to make a bona fide classic, because he has to make classic songs and put the shit together and still check all these boxes. We're finally at the point with Drake where I think the oldest of his supporters, which I think the oldest of his supporters call themselves the core, because they're under the assumption that if you're a core fan of Drake, you love So Far Gone, right? You love Thank Me Later and Take Care, and that kind of birthed him, and obviously nothing was the same, birthed him into this fucking phenom and Megatron that he becomes. So it's the first time we're seeing the top half of Drake's fan base are now beefing with the bottom half, because, again, there is a lot of people that are saying, yo, no, this shit is hard. What are you talking about? And those are usually the youngest of the fans, right? So you have his older fans beefing with the youngest of fans. And remember I told you, back to that fork in the road thing, I think Drake is like, yo, listen, without him saying it, like, I remember when Jay-Z said, niggas want my old shit, go buy my old album. I think Drake is kind of there saying, yo, you want that, Drake? Well, go listen to that, Drake, because I am moving forward. And not saying he's trying to isolate people, but he is moving forward in what he finds forward. And yeah, it is what it is. Let me keep playing.
I know how shit's supposed to sound. Can't nobody talk Drake with me.
Oh, you want me to mention comeback season? I see you. By the way, let me read some donation. Furlan's Gaming says, I'm waiting for the day you crash out on Drake. See, yeah, some of y'all got bad intentions, man. David Eunuch, thank you for the 5. He said, yo, please take some time to listen to your review. You want me to listen to my review of Views and listen to Joe Budden's review of Views with 2023 years. It's the same talking points. You know what? That's probably a good conversation. Remember, people were saying that like Views wasn't that good. I think I liked Views, but a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people were like, yo, More Life is better than Views. And I was like, nah, Views is better than More Life. But Views was more updated. Interesting. All right. If I have time, maybe I'll do it off stream. If I have time, I'll do it on stream, right? Daddy Logic, thank you for the 5. He says, yo, Drake is having issues with becoming older. That's why he's lashing out. I don't think he's having issues with him growing older. I seen his father comment something today, and it's not that I believe Drake's having a problem with aging. I think he, or maybe the people around him too, they're having a problem with y'all trying to throw him in the act your age bucket. Yo, act your age, buddy. Yo, bro, you still rapping about that? You old now. Like, that one of those, right? Like, you know how we do with Nicki Minaj a little bit? Let's be honest. Remember when we say, yo, auntie, stop rolling around the Thanksgiving table. Like, yo, you fucking up the stuffing and the mashed potatoes. And, yo, what the fuck? You know what I mean? We're basically telling her, like, yo, act like someone who's 45. I think Drake is fighting that. He's a youthful person. He's always made music for the bachelors, the people who are, just youthful in spirit. And I think he has an issue with people telling him to make music for a lifestyle he's not living yet, right? Drake doesn't come across like the nigga who's living the Jay-Z lifestyle, which, like, no disrespect to Jay-Z. Jay-Z's walking down the beach with Jack Dorsey and his wife, and he's wearing these open toe chancletas. You know what I mean? Like, he's not trying to hit the club and trying to turn up. Like, Jay's in a different world. So if Jay came back and be like, yeah, I'm fucking all these bitches sucking my dick, yo, I'm about to bag a hoe, we'd be looking at him like, yo, bro, that's not your life right now. Like, in reality, that's just not your life. I think with Drake, despite his age, that is Drake's life. Like, Drake is rapping still about the things that he's doing. Now, you might have a critique to say, dog, you should grow past it, but who are we to tell a nigga when he should stop doing certain shit? You get what I mean? If I had $1 billion and I'm 37 and every bitch on planet Earth want me and I could do whatever I want, Man, come on now. Anyway, let me keep this going.
He know that. So I can't really hear what you're saying. You spitting like internet propaganda. Like you just
Wow, that's what I said. How? I listened to the album, top to bottom.
But what you're saying is a personal attack on what I felt when I listened to the album.
By the way, MDH251, he says, Drake should have put out Scary Hours and kept working on the album. This sounds like a recorded on tour album. I feel that way. Now, I'm not gonna say how he should put it out, because I think for Scary Hours, I think he could have dropped a 3-song EP, right? And by the way, some of the songs, like even that freestyle he did on the radio, I thought that could have been part of it. I think he could have dropped 3 songs. We would have gave him until the end of the year to drop some hot shit. But I do think he likes dropping in October for whatever reason. Obviously, his birthday's coming up. But, hey, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's contractually he wanted to drop now. By the way, also, Gene C, thank you for the 5. He says, to be honest with you, why does Nicki get shitted on for doing the same thing Drake and others rappers do? Gene C, I would ask you what exactly, right? Like, shit, I think Drake is getting shitted on right now for him doing something that we associate with Nicki. Nicki is always like she's a legend, but she's involved in like little petty shit, right? Which is like, yo, why is the legend the best female rapper of all time like in this? That's why I think this is the only thing I think is jumping off the page with Drake. Like, who knows? Maybe in 2 weeks, everybody comes around and say, yo, Drake album's fire. Or, oh shit, it wasn't that bad type shit. You get what I mean? What's jumping off the page right now is, yo, we ain't never see Drake act like this. And that's the Nicki thing for me. Like, Nicki's been acting like that since 2018, since Cardi B came on the scene. Nicki's been acting just like that. Like she's insecure. She doesn't know who she is, that she needs to be competing at the moment. Like she's thirst for attention with the current crop of people, not knowing she is considered the greatest female rapper of all time. Drake is the GOAT. Drake, whether he drops a song and you might be like, yo, remember when he dropped Tootsie Slide? He's not online. Everybody was like, that's just for the kids, TikTok shit. He's not online cussing people out or being upset that people don't like it. Okay, you don't like this one? You know I'm coming with some other shit later. All right, fine, fuck it. We'll move on. You get what I mean? I guess that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to go back a little bit, and then I'm going to just play it because, the point here was to get Joe's opinion. Here we go.
Or Travis Scott or Playboy Cardi or all of these niggas he's trying to mimic. Drake don't need Lil Yachty in the studio to help him with nothing. That nigga's Jesus in this shit damn near. Yachty does not need to be there. The older you get in music, you shouldn't be less vulnerable. Drake is at the top. You shouldn't have been more vulnerable earlier in your career. You shouldn't have been a better rapper earlier in your career. And if that's still there, which it clearly is, because he'll Instagram some bars. That shit he Instagram was heat this morning. Whatever the one that ended with the Toronto kids. That was heat. Nigga, put it on a project. I'm a core Drake fan. So, yeah, I was there for comeback season. I know how shit's supposed to sound. Can't nobody talk Drake with me. He know that. So I can't really hear what you're saying. You spitting like internet propaganda. Like you just
wow, that's what I said. Huh?
By the way, I know I wasn't trying to pause it, but I do have to pause it here to say this. It was interesting when Drake, said what he said in my comment section, and this is when I realized just the power of really celebrity, right? Because obviously, Drake is just like the fucking biggest, right? In terms of like that type of stuff. But when Drake said to Joe, yo, you failed at music, blah, blah, basically saying, how can a failed musician tell a successful musician how to do music or what he's doing is wrong and whatever. You know what that reminded me of? Like, I seen mad people co-sign like, I ain't gonna lie, Drake got a point. How could a nigga who failed at music tell him? So if that's what any of y'all thought, how could you say anything to Drake? If Joe can't say nothing to Drake, you can't say nothing to Drake, I can't say nothing to Drake. Basically, we just got to sit here and take whatever he gives us. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, obviously, a lot of the think about sports. A lot of coaches weren't great players themselves. But I seen a lot of people trying to validate it. But in reality, because Drake rarely goes in and disses and violates a nigga like that. So when he did, everybody jumped on it. Well, yo, this is the biggest ether ever. How could a failed artist tell a successful artist how to do it? Well, how could a fan tell an artist how to make music? Why do y'all complain about music? For anybody who thought that, you should never complain about music because you don't make music. How could a non-musician tell the musician how to make music? Do you get what I mean? We're only talking about criticism here. We're only talking about criticism.
Oh, I listened to the album, top to bottom.
But what you're saying is a personal attack on what I felt when I listened to the album.
Facts.
And our ears ain't gonna hear it the same.
No, you right.
Two different things.
Right, but what I'm saying is you're saying that you basically saying that it sounds childish. I don't feel like it sounds childish. I feel like when I look at a 36-year-old, like I'm just only using this as an example. When Hov dropped that 36 and niggas was saying he was rapping like saying too grown shit, whereas like, yeah, only grown niggas can relate to this. It's like, all right, that's cool. If you want to do that, that's cool. But you can't be mad at a nigga that still want to be young because when niggas listen to his music, they don't see age.
I can. See,
when you listen to a nigga like Drake or Future, you don't see age.
Wait, that is weird. That's you. You speaking for you.
I'm saying that most people that I know
but that's where I'm confused. You have the right to speak for you and feel however the fuck you want to feel when you listen to this project. I'm not intervening in your thoughts on it. So why do you get to intervene in mine?
No, I don't.
Oh shit. Oh, wow.
Yo,
What you mean?
Annie.
I'm giving an opinion.
No, because you wasn't even here, Max.
Yeah, but let them talk. You trying
Yeah,
to
like
because it's
you
very
trying to
ironic.
put extras.
It's
You
very
putting extras
ironic
on
that
it.
everything I said, Joe come and say it and wasn't.
He didn't say nothing that you said, bro.
I just said you got a whole what? I just said that you don't know what you're talking about.
Nah,
you
Bang,
don't.
she
I
said-
You said Joe never cared to be. No, but she said no. She said Joe. She said Joe never.
Hey, Felicia.
But I said that.
Joe never cared to be the best, biggest
No,
rapper in
once
his career.
again, what I spoke to is you said when rappers go in, they think everything they make is a hit. I said I know.
No, I never said that,
Yeah,
bro.
you did. I'm gonna tell
I
you my
said they
response to
want to
that.
make a hit every time they go in the studio. Niggas want to make a hit.
Some niggas go to the studio just to rap, just to release, just to get shit off their chest. Bang, everybody not going to look for a hit. I'm telling you that.
When you get in the industry and your life depend on it, you rapping trying to pay
Now
the
you
bills at the
adding
end of the
extras.
day.
Now niggas live.
Wow, we not talking about. We not talking about
niggas.
We not talking.
Okay.
Bro, we talking about niggas that's in the music business.
Okay, all right, cool. Let me see if I can get back to Joe.
He still. He not a nigga that fell as a man. What the fuck? 10 years in the NBA.
happens like
the correlation.
Okay. So that was as much as he contributed. For me, I understand both sides a bit. I do think Joe went a little personal. I think Drake has all right to respond to that. But I also stand on the side that if we are consumers of Drake's music, we should be able to criticize him. Okay? And as long as these critiques are based in music, why not? Anyway, perfect. So I think that's about it in some of the responses, right? Anything else? Anything else? All right. By the way, randomly, and this is not necessarily a Drake-ish thing, right? This is not like a Drake-ish thing. Hey, could I get like a check? And by the way, still talking about, there's a lot of, you know where my chat queens are coming from? Is not Facebook, YouTube. Like they're crazy. By the way, that's why I shouted out Felicia on our Facebook just now. Not Facebook. I mean, fuck YouTube. We do stream on Facebook too, though. Can we get an age check of everybody in here? Like, just spam your age. Like, if you don't want to spam your age, just say, are you in your 20s, 30s? Are you in your teens? And the reason why I asked that is because of that donation that was sent earlier where someone says, they believe that Drake is having issues with becoming older. And as I was thinking about it, I'm like, what? No. You know what I mean? Like, shit. I remember for the longest, you got to remember, think about me, right, bro? I started like this YouTube shit, like early 20s, my guy, right? So I'm early 20s, I'm doing this. And I've always been known as, Ack is like the biggest outlet connected to the youth, connected to the youngest, like, artists that feeds a fan base of kids. At a point, I was always going to be 30, right? And mentally I had to realize, like, hey, listen, your job is just to be natural with yourself. So if you're still listening to drill music at 70, it is what it is. I don't really look at age like that. But age in talk media is way different than age in hip hop, right? Like, for example, I hope y'all still listen to me when I'm 50, right? But I don't think my age being 50 will matter that much as long as I'm being fair and as long as I'm being youthful. Like if I'm still listening to that shit, I'm whatever. In rap, it's almost like a death sentence, right? Like a rapper's age is like a woman hitting 30. It's like proverbially, right? Like, how sometimes dudes act like when women are hitting 30, like they're about to die. Well, you got no kids, you hitting 30. It's like, like you're on a time clock, right? And I'm wondering, does Drake really have an issue, or is he thinking about aging like that? And you know what clip came to mind? Do y'all remember the interview he did with Yachty? Drake Yachty. Let's go, Drake Yachty. Oh, this interview is a moody conversation. There's a part in the conversation where age is kind of brought up, and I remember Drake was just like, "Oh shit!" Like, you know what I mean? It was like, somebody get me the timestamp. It was basically, it was a slight exchange between them, and it was just kind of like, it made it obvious that Drake was like, "Oh shit!" I'm like, "Yo, dog, I'm like way older than you," type shit. You know what I mean? And, if you ever listen to music, like, for example, I listen to dancehall, there's this brilliant artist called Alkaline, right? Came in the game really young. His thing was, I was the youngest. He's like, I'm the youngest in charge. Okay, that was like 8 years ago. Now he's like 27 or 26 going into 30. That's no longer his thing. And he has to kind of mold because that was his brand. He's the youngest and the hottest. Like, by the way, even Youngboy. Like, Youngboy was like, that was kind of part of his brand, that he's this young kid who's really competing with these older vets. Does anybody have a timestamp for me? Yeah, somebody says Future is almost 40. I think Future doesn't make it a thing. You get what I mean? Future doesn't, like, his music, if Future was making the same music at 50, I don't think I would care. Right? Like, put it like this. Lil Durk, if you never knew that Lil Durk was, like, how old is Lil Durk? If you never knew Lil Durk was Lil Durk age. If you never knew, Durk is 30. If you just listen to the content of his music, you would definitely think Durk is like 24, 25. Do you get what I mean? So, could somebody give me the timestamp though? Please give me that timestamp if you can. So, again, I guess I'm coming back to the conversation of, I don't know if you guys are in entertainment. So, if you're working a regular job, like, growing older is probably just not that a bad thing. Obviously, if you're a woman, there's certain type of societal pressures that, it almost kind of make it feels like you're devalued because you're older or you're 30 plus. But, like, dudes, for the most part, like, them aging doesn't really matter that much. Actually, it's probably a benefit because they're making more money. And nobody kind of looks at, like, a cap of what you could do in terms of your job. Think about if you work a regular job. The person probably getting paid the most, been there the longest, probably one of the oldest. It's fine. It is what it is. But in hip-hop, it's so centric on the youth that it's the only place where people, like, the majority of hip-hop artists initially coming into the game lie about their age, right? It's like normal. Cut a couple years off that you could keep a couple years on later, right? Or you try to hang with younger people, or you just try to seem youthful. You do surgeries to keep that younger physique. You see Diddy in them. Diddy, have you seen Diddy in the pandemic? He's completely gray. Diddy now, he's not walking around with that gray shit. Like his shit is, him and Khaled, they're gonna be still trying to look youthful, at least in their 30s. They don't want to be looking like a 50-year-old man, right? Somebody said start at 23. Thank you for that. 23. Here we go.
So what's the question?
Why do you think it is the way that, like, certain things happen that are just, like, people think automatically, Christmas, we buy gifts. I think that's just a trait from a long time.
Hardwiring.
Right.
It's just all hardwiring. It's just all, it's the lifelong argument of nature versus nurture, right? Like, and that is the nurture thing. It's like, how were you, well, I guess both
upbringing?
Nature and nurture. Yeah, just like, what things were you raised on, right? Like, our accents and shit. Like, it's like, we probably all sound foreign to you being from Toronto because of just a place that we're from. And just the fact that, like, I don't know who started talking like that.
Yeah.
I'd love to meet that guy. I literally want to meet the first Toronto man of all time. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he got the accent from or any of that. But, like, I just, like, I know that, like, he's influenced all of us.
Yeah.
And now I'm like a full father talking like internet memes because that's my upbringing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, traditions and values. Why do they matter? Is that what you're asking? Or
Yeah, I just don't get, I just wonder why people, like, why is such a thing? He's doing it again, I think. You just missed it. He was doing it again.
he's locked in, bro.
He's feeling his dream. Do you believe in aliens?
Was that somebody said, nah, go to 6:15? Oh, y'all just trolling me now. Oh, Drill says it's 8:05. Oh, y'all just trolled me. It's 8:05. All right, I know Drill not gonna troll me. Here we go.
Like, I don't know. Like, I also really need, like, a house in Turks.
Yeah. There's a song, it's on Views, where you said something about retiring at 35. When you got close to 35,
Here we go.
I hate hearing that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, to go back to that comment via the donation, like, I've never thought about that when it came to Drake. Like, does Drake kind of, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, truthfully. You see, when Nicki start doing the little things and I need to get at Nicki, I remind her that she's a grandma. I know. I hit her with the age thing because, and by the way, play this. People could say to me, accurate, yo, you're in your 30s, my nigga. Bruh, I'm a media personality. My age does not matter, okay? Listen, when I'm 50 and I'll be like, you're 50, I'm like, okay, the fuck? I'm a media personality. As a rapper, it does. Anytime when I'm getting at Nicki, I hit her with the age. Bang! Yo, menopause is around the corner. Yo, shorty, like, come on, man. Like, yo, auntie, right? I do that. I definitely do that. But I've never thought about Drake having to, like, because I think for women it's more of that than men. But listen to Drake kind of, like, deal with the age question.
And then, like, I don't know. Like, I also really need, like, a house in Turks.
Yeah. There's a song, it's on Views, where you said something about retiring at 35. When you got close to 35,
I
did you
hate
ever?
hearing that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it the other night while we were at the
Yeah,
road.
people always say that. When you were younger, did you think 35
was really old.
Yeah. Yeah. You thought, like, 35, I'm like, good.
Yeah, I just like maybe that's like I think that.
Were you like 26 then?
I was young, yeah. I think like that, and sometimes when I've like said girls' names in songs, maybe those are the two things that I look back on. I'm like, maybe I could have done without like shitting on people for age, like or
Which, by the way, is a very common tactic, right? Like, I know, I like your act, bro. Like, yo, you just be giving to Nicki, and I'm not trying to pick on her, but I always say that about. I'm pretty sure Nicki now wishes she didn't shit on Lil' Kim for age. Right? Didn't basically call her old and washed up, right? Because as you eventually, like, you can't avoid it. Like, you can't avoid aging unless you're going to die young, right? So even Drake is kind of having those same things. And by the way, like, I don't know if you know the rapper The Game. The Game was just like, yo, I think he had this line. I don't know who he was dissing. Was it Jay? It's like, yo, you 35 and still rapping, It was like, it was a big deal to be rapping past 35.
saying like, you know, or like disrupting somebody's life. I never, like, the lyrics are never with ill intent, but it's like I had somebody one time be like, you know, it's not necessarily what you're saying about me, it's the fact that you said it.
What does that mean?
Like, just in the sense of, like, you don't know what it does to me. Like, you don't know who my boyfriend is at the time, or you don't know who, like, what.
Chat, there's another part in here. Y'all could tell me the timestamp. Drill, try to get the timestamp for me. It's where, like, Yachty reminds him, like, how old is Yachty? Yachty told him, like, yo, he's, like, 24. And he was like, damn, you're young. Like, Lil Yachty age. Yeah, it's like, I guess at the time, Yachty was 25. And Yachty, like, reminds him of his age. Because, like, I guess we're having a conversation and, like, something was said that kind of went over the other's head. And Yachty reminded him of the age. Do you get what I mean? And he was like, oh, shit, you're fucking, like, you're young as shit.
My family knows and doesn't know, you know, and if you express like any form of discontent for me in a song and call me by name, then all of a sudden, like, I'm left to kind of like pick up the pieces in my own life that I've like tried to build up for myself. So I've like tried my best to stop doing that, but I like to be honest in music too. So that one's a push and pull. But when I was younger and I would like.
You used to do a lot. I used to think you were making girls' names up.
No, I don't think I've ever made a girl's name up.
That's crazy.
Ever in life. I think that's the one thing that I would like maybe say is like just makes me kind of be like just to think it's so wavy to be young. It's not that sick. Because I'm here now. Like I just left 30.
Hey, this is such an interesting reaction because Yachty kind of side eyes him like. Because Yachty's younger. Yachty's like, nah, it is kind of cooler to be young, right? like, look. It's interesting where Drake is kind of like looking for a little bit of he's looking for like a little bit of oh yeah, nah, it's not, yeah, it ain't nothing about being in your 20s. You can see like, that's like a look of, yo, are you going to validate what I'm thinking? And Yachty's kind of like, just watch.
Left 35, right? And it's like,
I'm going to go back a little bit.
You used to do a lot. I used to think you were making girls' names up.
No, I don't think I've ever made a girl's name up.
That's crazy.
Ever in life. I think that's the one thing that I would like maybe say is like just makes me kind of be like just to think it's so wavy to be young. It's not that.
Somebody says, Ak, why are you so fascinated about age? The reason why I'm having this conversation, I think that's the personal jab that Drake felt from Joe. Joe essentially said to Drake, bro, you're an old man who should be acting his age, rapping his age, hanging around people his age, and also fucking women of your age. That's where the personal beef got in. And then there was someone who sent a donation in to say, do you think Drake has a problem with aging? And I said, I've never thought that before. But if I had to think of him dealing with that subject, it brought me back to this video. And this is the video where, you know, Yachty, who's 10 years younger than him, kind of brings it up. And they have like an interesting exchange. And I don't know. Let me play it.
It's not that sick. Because I'm here now. Like I just left 35, right? And it's like.
You're getting up there.
Well, all right. But
I think that's the acting in him right here, though. I think that's the acting. That's the acting in him, though. I think that's him acting a bit. I don't think he cares that much.
Because I'm here now. Like I just left 35, right? And it's like.
You're getting up there.
Well, all right. But
just saying.
Nah, I think that's acting though. I think that's just content. I think that's content, but I do think that kind of like hits him a little bit. You get what I mean? Like chat, be honest with me. I think it's more content than whatever, but I do think, you know they always say there's a truth in every joke. I do. Maybe Drake is like, I'm still like Drake's nickname is the boy, right? I'm still the boy, right? I'm not the man. I'm the boy. Does it feel? I don't know. Let me go back.
Left 35, right? And it's like.
You're getting up there.
Well, all right. But
just saying.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right. How old are you?
25. So.
Yeah. I can't wait. You're gonna get old as fuck.
Yo, Drake, yo. Let me tell you this. This is when you hit your 30s. This is what you tell niggas in their 20s because you know you can't get your 20s back. Yo, I can't wait till you get to 30, nigga. I can't wait till you get to 30, nigga.
You'll be
still dripped
as
out.
much basketball. Just saying.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right. How old are you?
25. So
yeah, I can't wait. You're gonna get old as fuck.
By the time I get old as fuck, but when I'm old as fuck, you're gonna be in a cane.
No, by the way,
you'll be using a cane.
Yo, hey. Those are little jabs. I'm gonna be honest. Obviously, by the way, I think they're friends, and this is all jokes. But you know,
he's 10 years older than you.
Yeah, you'll be
still dripped
out. As much basketball you play, you'll definitely using a cane by 40.
Nah. By the way, I'll be in incredible shape.
I think you'll be using a cane.
Nah, I don't think so. But again, I know that you have like confidence at 25 because you're 25. Like it's so.
I've
cool
had confidence
now.
since 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's like cool to you that you're 25. I get it. I was there. By the way, I was there. I was like 25 too. I was damn, I'm 25. These old ass niggas.
Now you're saying 30 is the new sexy, right? That's
no, I'm not saying that. This isn't like a.
Hey, you see, he basically preemptively said, because you know Jay-Z said that, yo. Did Jay-Z say 40 is the new 20 or 30 is the new 20?
You're one of those people.
I'm not like remember when Hov did the button up and tried to make everybody dress formal to regular events?
Yeah, Kanye used to.
That's Jay. Jay did that shit.
Man, really try to make it like formal. Like if you're not in formal dress code.
Kanye did that too, though. It was the point when Kanye did that. When he was just wearing like wedding suits everywhere. Yeah. It was like if you didn't wear a suit and black Ray-Bans, you just weren't. You weren't cool.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. You just gotta find your way in there. You know. I feel great though.
Yeah.
I feel great.
That's good. That's good.
Age is a funny thing, though.
Age is a funny thing. The concept of it.
I know.
You know? How it never stops turning. I look at my father now and I start seeing gray hairs and it's insane.
Yeah, it's just like, you just don't know if you're going to make it there. And then when you make it there, you're like, damn, okay, I'm here now. I don't really feel that much different than I did.
Yeah.
At this point, I thought I would.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this.
It's been a good life, though.
I think it's been a great life. Fantastic life.
Life.
I'm looking at a sunset.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
Yeah, you guys can't see it, but it's there.
This was a great interview. This wasn't a hip-hop interview, but it was a great life interview. By the way, Yachty, good job for this one. This was a great life interview. I like this joint.
Cut to B-roll.
This is an interesting question because
Okay, all right. So, yeah, I mean, I think some of that, you know, again, some of Drake's comments, no, not Drake, Joe's comments came off as, yo, you're the old dude in hip hop trying to blood suck the youth for the wave. Or, you know what I mean? You're the old creepy guy pulling up in your fucking car at the high school trying to pick up a girl. You know what I mean? Like one of those types. And I get why personally you would be offended by that, because it's not only like, definitely it's age shaming a little bit, but it's kind of making you seem like you're a fucking creep, right? Or like you're just like, you're doing some shit wrong. And, you know, according even what Drake said, yo, bro, like the niggas is making shit up. Like these are not real things. Like, again, I think we see Drake with Yachty and we probably think that Drake is hanging out with like Yeet and Yachty and the rest of them. For whatever reason, Drake fucks with Yachty, right? But do I think he's not hanging out with like the normal dudes he normally hangs with? I think he's all hanging with them. All right, anyway. Oh, wow. Chivalry, thank you for the 10. He says, yo, I'm a huge fan. I flew from Florida and I saw you in Jersey. I was so starstruck to say anything. I was with Coach Ice. Is it Coach Ice or Coach Cheese? Salute him, by the way. He said, just want to say I think you do phenomenal with stand-up comedy. I can't wait to see you more. That was a very nice comment. I appreciate you. If you came to my first show ever, I really was trying to slip some stand-up in there. And if you ask me, like even at the next show that we're kind of planning, I want to do two 15-minute sets, because obviously we're definitely gonna have music performers and other things, but I want to do a nice little 15, right? Bring some people on, keep the energy up. We're gonna do another 15, okay? So I'm trying my hand at the comedy stuff, but of course I'm gonna try it with y'all. You know what I mean? If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, Shit, I'll just fucking host and bring people on stage. It don't matter. Okay. Great. Chris Jones, thank you for the 2. He says, Drake needs to kick Yachty the fuck out of the OVO lab. I think Drake takes, he definitely takes offense at people criticizing his relationship with Yachty. Let me see if I could pull this up. This is what he said. Let me see. Give me a second. Is it this? No. It's, give me a second. Right here. Okay. This is what he said about Yachty. He said, and by the way, I think he said this on a radio show, so this is really from the radio show. He says, I don't think this album is what it is if I don't get to run everything by you. He's talking about Yachty. If I don't get to sit in the studio and write with you and think with you, and if you don't send me beats, and if you don't tell me what you believe in or don't believe in, the realest shit you can get is somebody that cares about you enough to tell you their real opinion. By the way, Yachty has he has credits on 5 out of 23 of the tracks. Obviously, he's pretty much 5 out of 21 because 2 are interludes. And, you know, I think the friendship with Yachty and Drake is very interesting because it's not only, oh, I enjoy being around this guy. It's, yo, this guy is helping me with music. Right? Okay. Anyway, let's kind of move this along a little bit. We listened to the Joe Budden thing already, but of course, nothing could be complete. And by the way, the last thing on Agent again, you know what I mean? If you're asking me why I'm bringing up Agent, I'm bringing it up because rappers, especially female rappers, are always insecure about it. And at times in history, people have aged out rappers. I remember when people start calling what Jay-Z was rapping grandpa raps. Like, oh, grandpa. I used to call him Grandpa Hove. And once people start using your age against you, no matter what you say, it's kind of like, for example, like Meek Mill, right? People are using the fact that they've seen him in some of these situations that don't happen to be streets, and they now perceptive-wise don't think he's in the streets anymore. They use it against him to shame him. So he could spit the hottest shit about him being in the streets and people just won't believe it because a lot of hip hop is perception, right? It's perception whether they think you're living that life. It's perception if they think it's coming from a truthful place. It's perception if they believe that what you're saying is actually emblematic of what's going on outside. And unfortunately, it's age based as well. You get what I mean? Anyway, his father, so Dennis Graham, actually chimed in about this whole conversation, and he said, it's a fucking shame that a young artist can't do his own thing and enjoy his glory without a old hater motherfucker trying to bust his bubble because he has nothing going on. And to mention or put a limit on what age anyone should be dealing with, which is none of his goddamn business. As long as they're of legal age. So basically saying any woman he wants to fuck with, as long as they're legal age, is fine. He says, I am sick of these old fucking haters fucking with my son. If you don't like what he does, keep it moving, motherfucker. He's not bothering you. Okay? All right, then. Now, Birdman actually jumped in because Birdman was on Clubhouse last night. I actually missed the entire thing when he was on Clubhouse, but he chimed in about people with Drake.
Man, Champagne Poppy, the real deal. Any nigga playing with Champagne Poppy could suck my dick.
Whoa.
Y'all some pussy ass niggas. Stop playing with Champagne Poppy.
They be saying I be tripping, bro. I be
He popping
I
his
be
shit.
this over.
So, hey, Remo. So, how do you feel about people who's really not feeling Drake's latest album? A lot of people saying that this is the start of Drake falling off, maybe.
Hey,
Like Joe Budden criticizing him too.
Joe Budden ain't got a hit since Carter had liver pills.
say, bro, tell Joe Budden calm down, bro. I don't have no ill feelings with Joe Budden. I personally always respected Joe Budden. I don't have nothing ill about Joe Budden, but he can't play with the GOAT. You can't play with the GOAT. No,
Right now.
I have none but respect for Joe, but he can't play with the GOAT. And if you playing with the GOAT, then you want a problem. If you want a problem, we'll give you a problem.
Oh shit.
I don't God, we'll give you one. But if you want one, we'll give you one. But besides that, you want if you we don't want to give you a problem, but if you want a problem, we'll give you a problem with the GOAT. Because we respectable men, we honorable men, we not dishonorable men. But if you play, then we gonna play. It's how it go. But I respect Joe, and if he want a problem, we'll give it to him. Wack, you can handle him on the West Coast. I handle him down bottom, and we'll handle him wherever we go. Every five, it ain't that complicated.
He said, "Whack, you handle him on the West Coast. I'm gonna handle him down bottom." Pause, by the way. And he said, "Get somebody to handle him on the East Coast." God damn.
It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Real tough, right?
What did he say? Y'all pull.
Yo, Wax so different. Wack been on Clubhouse with Joe mad times. They've been that cool. Yo, Birdman says that. Yo, he said, yo, it's gonna be what's gonna be.
New Orleans 9 up. Stop kicking niggas. Them niggas is from Thunder Backyard. They got a voice.
He can't change his PTR, bro.
It don't even matter. If I put him up, let him come up.
Hey, I got a crack.
Man, champagne popping the real.
And by the way, I think Drake he's gonna fall all the way back from a lot of this stuff. You know why? Because I think he knows the internet. It's like, remember when I had a critique about Nicki and then she DM'd me saying Big Zoo gonna beat me up? It's like, you look worse when you start threatening people for their opinion. Like, yo, when we catch you, we're gonna do this to you. Like, now all of a sudden people are like, damn, why is it so serious? And now they're gonna take the opinion more serious. So rather than I think that first thing that Drake said to Joe was great. Cool. You trying to get your shit off, clown him, have people talk about Joe's career instead of your album? Fine. But now everybody's threatening to beat Joe up. When we catch you, we're doing this. Now it almost looks like, wait, why is one man's opinion about an album so threatening? It only makes it worse. You know what I mean? So now people are like, I think the threats to Joe now made people be like, yo, maybe there is something to this, right? Okay. So yeah, so that pretty much happens. Again, I'm pretty sure Joe will put out something eventually. I think we could kind of leave it here for now. Oh, the last Drake related thing was, again, Birdman was on Clubhouse. So Birdman was on Clubhouse and he confirmed that Bad Bunny is signed to OVO. Okay? I'll just play his words. These ain't mine. This is the words of Birdman.
They already signed to Drake.
Oh.
Y'all just don't know it.
Oh, exclusive.
Oh, shit, y'all. Wake it up, Birdman. Wake it up, Birdman.
We going up, man.
Hi, can I? I'm gonna.
Okay, so
wait, Birdman. So Bad Bunny is signed to Drake.
Exclusive 100 ENT.
Yes.
What he said?
Birdman. So Bad Bunny is signed to Drake.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Well, under what label?
OVO.
Yeah. Let's go.
How long has he been signed to Drake?
Day one.
Day one, yeah.
Bad Bunny already signed to Drake.
Oh.
Y'all just.
Okay. It's kind of interesting. That is pretty interesting. Now, what do I think? Do I think Birdman is telling the truth? Well, first and foremost, I don't think Birdman is known to be a liar. However, let's be clear on Bad Bunny's situation. Bad Bunny's in one of the best contracts from what I've heard in the entire music industry. I've heard from many executives far and wide. And by the way, I'm not saying this to go against what Birdman says, because Birdman is also one of the best executives that's ever lived. To me, he's the Phil Jackson of executives and label owners, especially ones that come from the culture. But here are some facts. Bad Bunny is signed to Remus Entertainment, which is actually owned by, I forgot the name of the dude. However, the deal he has with them is a profit share deal, and also one that he owns his shit. So when that company later gets into bigger deals with other companies to release his album, those albums are still going to be owned by Bad Bunny at the end of the day, or are going to be returned to him. And also, it's more of a distribution deal, not a 360, which for the most part, the majority of huge rappers or huge artists in the US historically have been in 360s. He's not in a 360, and percentage-wise, he's not in a royalty deal. He actually gets the biggest percentage of a profit share than pretty much every rapper in the game. Okay? He's not the guy, say Drake gets a $500, $600 million deal. You won't hear Bad Bunny getting that deal because he gets more off of every record sold. So again, a lot of times when you hear people getting these big deals, they're taking the huge advance or huge lump sums up front. And, obviously, like people like Drake, he's going to recoup in the third. But people like Bad Bunny, he might just do 2 albums for $50 million. But here's the thing. He's going to make $150 million off of those 2 albums when everything is said and done, because he's just a fucking huge artist. So in reality, he's in the best deal. Now, is he signed to OVO? From what I know, no. From what I know. Now, Birdman is saying opposite. I'm not going to call Birdman a liar. But from what I know, no. Now, the last time they collabed, other than this new track that's on Drake's project, was the MIA track. Now, I'm going to pull up this real quick that you guys can see it. Here we go with this. So if you go to Bad Bunny, and by the way, label information usually is under here or Apple Music when you look at songs or whatever. Like, for example, he released the latest single. You're going to see 2023 Remus Entertainment LLC. That's the label he signed to, which pretty much he has a distribution deal through them. They then partner with American labels to get his songs even bigger and also do all the American, marketing, blah, 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 blah. But his deal initially is a distribution deal. From what I've heard, when Remus goes to a U.S. label, let's say Republic, let's say anything under the Universal Music Group system, they ask flat out for a 90-10, which means 90% of the profits goes to Remus. I don't know how they cut it with them and Bad Bunny, which I still think he gets at least 70%, right? But 90% goes to Remus and 10% would go to Universal. That's what I've heard. They've done a bunch of stuff through the Orchard, which is like it's a outlet that you could distribute music through. Yeah. Okay, like for example this. Okay. Oh my God. Can I see the fucking article? They gonna hate. Yeah, so, you guys can't see it, sorry. So what the labels have been trying to do is just flat out buy or invest in the article, invest in Remus because they have their Bad Bunny's distributor. So it says, like for this article, it says Sony's reportedly in talks to buy a stake in Bad Bunny's label and management firm, Remus. Because again, this is a rare situation. By the way, it's the same situation with Central C, except Central C is doing it different. Central C he's trying to sign a deal where they only control his rights in North America. So when he drops music in London, and he's a London or UK artist, that's another label. But when the music comes across the United States, he'll work with a Atlantic or a Def Jam or whatever, and they only monitor his rights for in the United States, right? Which is obviously going to help him because now they're incentivized to get him on all these Billboard charts that we all report. But his overseas money, he's getting it different, and they don't control those rights. You get what I mean? You gotta remember, Bad Bunny is like a bunch of like lucrative artists that come out of that that Puerto Rican like system, like Ozuna, who else, Arcangel, Anuel, all those people. But for the most part, they're not signed directly to these labels, so that's why you see like Sony trying to buy like a 60% stake of his company, because Bad Bunny is, for all intents and purposes, printing money. Like, he's printing money. So because when he makes supposedly $100 million in profit, they're only getting 10. Like, they want more of the action, but they can't pay him enough. They would have to give him a Drake-esque deal for him to go under that, but he's not starving for money. He's making a shit ton of money, not only on that, and because he's not in the 360, he's doing stadiums. Remember I brought up before when we were looking at his tour? They're pulling down anywhere between $11 to $60 million in revenue per every show he did on his last tour. $11 to $60 million in revenue, and from what I'm hearing, his take home is at least $7 every night. So he's taking home $7 million every night. He doesn't have no big touring deal. He's like, they have so much leverage in the game that if they ever partner with anyone, they're getting most of the money, right? So if you're in these favorable partnerships, they would have to give you a whole lot of money. Like, obviously, to the tune of what Drake got, $500 to $600 million, for you to be like, oh, just give me that up front, and then I don't care about like whatever. But yeah, he's a really favorable deal. So this is why this OVO shit's a little confusing. Anyway, I bring up that to actually bring up this. I'm not sure if what Birdman was saying was a confusion with, go to Drake, and actually let's go to their song before this, Drake MIA. And even though this wasn't the beginning stages of Bad Bunny, maybe to U.S. listeners, it was an introduction, right? By the way, it's a song with over 1.2 billion plays on Spotify. And if you look at the label, you're going to see OVO sound. So Drake signed an amazing deal, and as he's gained leverage into the game, now every project, and you can see even For All the Dogs, is going to be dropped on his label, partially because Drake owns some of his masters. Now, he owns a sizable portion of his masters, and the way he owns it now is through negotiation. You get what I mean? Remember, and not every artist has that leverage. For example, NBA YoungBoy, he tried to take less money from Atlantic as long as he could get some of the masters back for his old projects, and they flat out said, fuck no. That's one of the reasons why he walked. But if you look at For All the Dogs, you're going to see down here, 2023 OVO under license to Republic, a division of UMG. Okay, you don't even see Cash Money. Now, apparently Birdman still is involved somehow, but his imprint name won't be on the label notes anymore, right? Okay, so why did I say that? I say that because I don't think Birdman's a liar, right? I know with pretty much confidence that Bad Bunny ain't signed to OVO, but here's the thing. If you look at the majority of songs dropped with Drake in the last decade, because Drake has been such a huge artist in the game, and this was how it was famously told to me, Drake could only clear, so this is how it was told to me. And this is not, again, I don't know if it still exists for Bad Bunny, but this is how it was going on. Go back to like days he's doing shit for Fetty Wap and shit like that. Drake could clear a certain amount of songs per year, right? Why? If Drake does 1 million songs as features, he's diluting the product. So contractually, he could do whatever. By the way, he signed to bigger labels. At least at those times, Cash Money was one of the bigger labels, right? Then Universal. Now, Drake would charge whatever for a feature. So you would have an artist fee for if you're getting Drake on a song. If he jumps on, he probably wouldn't charge you at all because he would pick you. So he jumps on your song. Like he jumps on Fetty Wap's song. He's doing it for free because he jumped on the song. But now your label has to clear the song. Now, when your label hit up Birdman to say, yo, we're trying to clear the song, Drake just jumped on it, they're going to be like, okay, that's cool. But we need like $400,000 or we need $500,000. So there is always a charge to clear the records with Drake. Now, remember, Drake went on this crazy stimulus package run where he's doing mad features. Now, of course, people are happy it's a Drake song, right? The Drake feature, but Drake's label is taxing. The way Drake got around it, and I heard that's one of the reasons why even the what's that nigga name? Going up on a Tuesday, whatever. It was written, again, I don't know his current contract, but it was written in his old contracts that if Drake released a song with another artist under OVO, his label doesn't have to clear it, and there will be no clearance fee, right? Because they're thinking if Drake is trying to put his artist on and he releases like this. So anyway, it's a hack. So what ends up happening, you're going to see most of Drake's features have OVO on it. And it's basically, from what I hear on a business level, the way to get around paying like damn near $500,000 to Birdman, because you will not get a song out normally if Cash Money has to sign off on it if Birdman don't get paid. So if it comes out of OVO, it's seen as it's under Drake's label, but you don't get hit with the fee, right? So that's what I've always been told. I don't know what the situation is now. I'm pretty sure it's pretty different. But I suspect, and this is a theory, I suspect, and by the way, I heard the number of songs that Drake could have done it for was like 4, either 4 or 6. You know, so in his contract it says, hey, listen, if you drop whatever song under like 6, so up to 6 songs per year, you could put it through OVO Records and there won't be a clearance, blah, 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 blah. And that's how like all these niggas who are getting features who probably labels can't afford them would get those songs out. Anyway, I'm thinking maybe this existed back in 2018. And to further explain this, and I'm not confusing myself, but I'm hoping I'm not confusing y'all. I don't know if Birdman's alluding to this. So the way how these deals were done, you basically do a deal with OVO Sound, right? OVO Sound Records to release the song, but it's almost like you signed to the label for a one single deal. Does that make sense? So that's how he was getting it out. Oh, all right, you signed a one single deal that's coming through the label, wink, wink. You don't have to pay nothing, right? I'm the feature. I'm Drake. Everything goes past Cash Money. So theoretically, if I'm right, maybe that's why Birdman is saying this, that Bad Bunny puts this song through OVO and the agreement they sign is a one single deal through OVO. Now, it's like that album, Un Verano Sin Ti, which is his huge album, is not on OVO. So it's no way that should, you know what I mean? You could look. No. It's Un Verano Sin Ti. Here we go. Right here. If you look at this album, you'll just only see Remus. There's no OVO. Okay? There's no OVO. And again, maybe Birdman is saying he signed to Drake because they did that deal for that one song, but it doesn't mean he signed to him continuing. Now, granted, Birdman has a way with words. Birdman still says Drake is signed to him, even though by the press release and by the agreement that Universal made to settle his beef with Lil Wayne, it was said that Birdman and Cash Money has nothing to do with Lil Wayne anymore, Drake anymore, Nicki anymore, and their contracts roll into Republic. So Nicki doesn't drop on Cash Money anymore, Drake doesn't drop on Cash Money. Universal did a favor by saying, we're going to pay your debt, Birdman, but we're taking your artists, right? You keep your label, but we're taking your artists. Whatever you owned of the catalog, you still keep. But because you have these outstanding contracts with these huge artists, Nicki owed a couple albums, Drake owed a couple albums. All right, cool. We inherit those, okay? and we'll pay you $51 million or whatever to Wayne. Do you get what I mean? However, Birdman still says they're signed to me. You do not see Cash Money on any of these. You don't see Cash Money nor Young Money. By the way, the majority of Young Money is owned by Birdman. You don't see Cash Money or Young Money on any Drake release since that agreement. So if you go back, you go to Drake. We could go to look on Take Care. Take Care. It says Cash Money Records. You see, that's 2012 or 2011, right? More Life. He's still there. Cash Money Records, right? And what happened is in between then and Scorpion, I think that's when the change happens. Oh, it still says Young Money, Cash Money. So I guess it's after Scorpion. What happened after Scorpion? Dark Lane Demo? I think it was Dark Lane Demo. Right? Dark Lane Demo. Yes, now we start seeing, 2020 we start seeing OVO under license to Republic. So you stop seeing Cash Money. And it's going to be that going forward. And from what I'm hearing is Drake also, he's in constant renegotiations. Half of his, let me not speak specifically on percentages of his masters, but there's a percent of his masters that is owned by his label and a percentage owned by Republic. And obviously because he has so much leverage, as time goes on, he could be in the position of saying, I'm not dropping or signing another deal with y'all unless I have all my fucking, I own whatever. But I hear they sweeten the pot with just a shit ton of money. Like $600 million is, you know what I mean? Like, give me $600 million, I'll buy that shit back later. Give me the $600 million right now. You get what I mean? So, that's what it is. Okay, so that's my theory. I could be wrong, but Birdman says he's signed. Come on, Birdman. I don't know. Anyway, the last thing about the Birdman situation, or the Birdman conversation, I guess. Oh, my bad. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Birdman also commented on Gilly. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. He kind of gave it to Gilly here. If you don't know, Gilly is a very successful podcaster. He does a podcast with his cousin, Wallow. Their podcast name is $1 Million Worth of Game. However, if you don't know his history when it comes back to just music and media, or just really music, Gilly, Philadelphia rapper, that became associated with Lil Wayne and Cash Money at a point. Some people even thought he was writing for Lil Wayne. And eventually they severed ties. And some people just always thought that he wrote for Wayne. You know what I mean? Some people believe that he wrote Go DJ for Wayne. Some people believe he wrote Fireman. Wayne has kind of always denied it. There's a fucking, they kind of started beefing as well. There's a Rap City freestyle where Dwayne Wayne Jr., a.k.a. or Dwayne Wayne Carter, I think his name is Dwayne Wayne Carter, Lil Wayne. This is Gilly on like a freestyle show, which is right here.
From Q4.
I talked to him.
Live from the okay. Who remember this freestyle?
See, live from the gotcha. Live from the 504. It's Mr. Crazy Flow jumping like a bungee, no rope. Even in the dungeon, I glow. Even if it ain't sunny, I glow. If it ain't about money, I go nowhere. I'm nailed to the flow. I am a sail to the water.
You're gonna hear this Gilly right
to
now.
My boat, and it's going down like there's a whale in the boat. And you can smell what I smoke. And yep, I sip that lean. You hit me with that combination and make my eyes bleed. I'm a shark in the water. Yeah, I swim with the big, so I don't have time to deal with Willie the Squid.
That's him dissing Gilly, right? So he's like, he says, I don't got time to deal with Willie the Squid, play off Gilly the Kid's name. By the way, Gilly the Kid dropped a Canon freestyle. This is all history. This is a long time ago.
I'm a shark in the water. Yeah, I swim with.
Of course, you see Birdman right there.
The big, so I don't have time to deal with Willie the Squid. Lily pad, homies, look at the monster, man. You don't wanna crash like La 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 Bamba. Yeah, it's me, Rona and Terror.
Yeah, this shit was fire. Okay, anyway, So now Birdman, obviously Gilly has a great platform and has a voice, and him and Wild always be joking about his history and whatever. And I guess Birdman wanted to set a few things straight. Here we go.
I ain't never made $1 off Gilly. Not $1. I never put a record out with Gilly.
I
I thought there
said
was
that.
some. I thought there was Fly. He had something with the little crew and you hear me. But I ain't never made $1 off Gilly when he be running around with all that capping. Like nigga, I ain't never made no money off you, nigga. Stop all that cap ass talking, nigga.
Oh shit.
You not like that. But I ain't never made no money off him at all. I ain't never put a record out off him and made no money. And he for sure ain't never wrote one rhyme for Moolah.
For the record,
There you
for the
go.
motherfucking
There it
record,
is. There it
100
is.
side exclusive. For
Exclusive.
the
100
There you
motherfucking
side.
record.
Now, I'm going to tell y'all where it really went bad. Stunner pull up to Philly. He wanted to go get them motherfucking throwback jerseys and shit. They go to the mall. Stunner in the town. He in your city. He with you. My man walk in. Uh, it's my man name with the voice.
Single,
What's my man?
single.
Beanie Siegel.
Benny Siegel walk in, lock his hands on Gilly's shoulder, and take one. And Stunner them looking for a reaction and didn't get one. Stunner didn't say nothing. He went to his tour bus and saw niggas wasn't like that, and he continued his journey in life.
Hey, my reason for my fallout with Gilly was we was in Philly.
Here we go, Wag. Here we go. Class. Exclusive.
Let it go.
I ain't got no ill feelings with Blood. I ain't got no ill feelings with him. I ain't tripping off him or nothing. I ain't got no ill feelings with him. But niggas be putting all these false, fake shit out. You hear me? I ain't got no ill feelings with him. We was in Philly at a store and we was shopping. And Beanie come in the store, grabbed him, walked him outside, and he had a blicky on him. We all got blickies on us. I got 100 niggas with me. But a nigga grabbed him and brought him outside. And a nigga whoop whoop and he ain't do nothing. I lost all respect for him and then I stopped fucking with him.
100
There
side
it go.
exclusive.
Exclusive.
Oh, shit, y'all.
There it go.
Well, goddamn. Now I'm gonna be honest, man. You know, I feel bad for Gilly on this one. I don't know if Gilly's been telling a different story, but clearly bothered Birdman enough that he wanted to come clarify this shit himself. He had to set some shit straight. Okay, all three of y'all, all right? And I don't know. Shit, I'm pretty sure Gilly's gonna explain the story a little bit more. But I guess the story, he just told it, but I'll kind of summarize it. He says, I guess they're probably thinking Gilly's a street dude. By the way, this is back then when people really, this is like pre-internet times, kind of almost, right? People really, it really mattered if you were like a real nigga, right? You know what I mean? Like it really mattered. Yeah, that sounds like a ridiculous time. But anyway, Birdman and them pull up to Philly and they're thinking like Gilly's some head honcho of Philly. And Gilly's in the store and Beanie Siegel comes in and I'm guessing Beanie hits him with one of these, just grabs him by the shoulder, like one of them, you good nigga? You know what I mean? And apparently orders him to go outside and they're looking like, what the fuck? And I guess Beanie Siegel had a gun on his hip or something like that. And apparently, I don't know what happened with Beanie and Gilly, but maybe Beanie gave him a stern talking to. And they're like, oh, hell nah, this nigga Gilly not like that. And they said Birdman just gets back on the bus and said, yo, we got to go, man. Yo, we got to get the fuck on out of here, man. But, hey, to be honest, I've heard stories about that nigga Beanie Siegel. They say Beanie Siegel is a reason. Yo, Beanie Siegel's nickname is the Broad Street Bully. And I don't think you get that nickname without doing shit like that. Like grabbing niggas up, taking them out the store. You know what I mean? Like on some Mano shit. You know what I mean? I don't think you get that nickname without doing all that type of shenanigans. Right? But I think Gilly would disagree that the story went exactly like that, but I'm down to see if he speaks on it. You know what I mean? He might never speak on it. He did comment. He was in the comment section. He says 25 years later. And that is true. It is 25 years later. You know? And I agree with him with that. Like, yeah, that's just dumb old. But I also understand what Birdman's saying. Birdman probably feels like now Gilly got a platform. Gilly running around capping about what really happened. So he's just trying to clarify. I don't know. Anyway, let me see. By the way, thank you for all the donations. By the way, somebody says, yo, Gene C said, yo, Ak, I'm leaving New York City soon. You said hit you up. I would love to link. When are you leaving New York? Check the report. He said Drake been carrying the rap game for years. When Kendrick dropped that mid-ass album and disappeared again after 5 years, where were those same critics? Okay. Ooh, okay. All right. That's a good point. Murder Two Ways. He says, yo, if you have to question anything, let's ask why he's 40 and he got the same hairstyle as my 10-year-old. Who got the same hairstyle as a 10-year-old? Joe? Wait, Drake is not 40. Stop it. Your 10-year-old has the same hairstyle as Drake? Okay. Sean Money, thank you for the 2. He says, yo, was this album better than Donda? I mean, at this point, I wouldn't say this. By the way, I think Donda really appreciated with time. Donda is a musical. You know what I've realized about Kanye West's albums? They're more like musical pieces than I'm thinking about like a rap album. They're like musical pieces. And the level of musicianship that is usually displayed on this project. By the way, another thing too, as we were talking about Kanye, let's talk about Kanye for a second. Kanye West supposedly is about to have, they said he's planning a massive Italian concert next week. And they said Kanye West reportedly is starting to plan for a massive concert in Reggio Emilia, Italy, that will entertain more than 80,000 people next week, according to the Italian newspaper, which bills itself as the official voice of Northern Italy's city. He's reportedly dispatched all the necessary workers to construct a stage in preparation for an event taking place on Friday. However, the outlet makes it clear that while the through-the-wire rapper may be dispatching the necessary field workers to get blah, 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 he hasn't gotten the necessary authorizations from the Italian governing bodies. Now, this is why this is important. People, you know what I think Kanye does amazing that I think Drake doesn't do really at all is presentation. And I wonder where y'all fall on the, as an artist, is the presentation of your work important just as the reception of your work and also just how the quality of the work? Because Kanye West is so phenomenal and just so far in the thinking about how he delivers a project. By the way, apparently he's been working on a project. Don't know who's on it. Don't know how it sounds. Like we don't know nothing. Obviously, there was a shit ton of music leaked. Some people believe some of that might be used, but it was like 104 gigabytes. It was documentaries, all type of stuff. Regardless, even though I haven't heard anything from the album, you know what I'm thinking? I'm like, yo, Kanye West is just amazing with presenting the album. He presents it as bigger than life. He presents it as bigger than a rap album. Even I don't know how long he takes to work on these things, but he presents it like it's like opera, like it's a Broadway play. And I do believe that has profound impact on how it's viewed. And you know, in a time where music is just so devalued and it's come and go on some TikTok shit where people forget about your release a day and a half after you drop it, presentation is very important. By the way, let's compare music to like the movie industry. I always believe that, first of all, remember when, you know, you could still pirate music. Obviously now we're in the streaming era, but even after, you know why the music industry never got back like how the movie industry got back? Because piracy hit both. People were downloading movies and music. Is that the movies made it an event that you cannot replicate by downloading the shit and watching it at home. It was an event. It's an event to go there Friday night. It's an event. You have to go to it. There's a presentation. That first week you're going to see it. It's a presentation. And that is the importance or the difference between that and just music. If you just get music from an artist, it drops on Friday. I mean, now we just streaming, but back then if you just download it, there's no presentation. There's no like, oh shit. There's no FOMO moment like you need to be there, right? Like the way Kanye West presents his music, though, there is a little bit of FOMO in the sense of, yo, he's like, and he did this before with both of the Dondas, the one that didn't really come out or came out on STEM, and then the first one. You need to, like, this thing is a living, breathing thing that you need to be there to experience, you know, which I think that's very dope. Anyway, apparently it says, translation, in the event the authorizations aren't forthcoming, the date of the following Friday, which is the 20th, is also on the table. Additionally, there's speculation that the preparation are merely for an end of summer concert. I don't think that's it. And rumors of who could be performing still hang in the air, especially in the absence of official confirmation from West Camp or other camps. Obviously, I don't think this is happening. It's 4 days away. I don't think it's going to happen, but he's trying to do it for 80,000 people. One thing with Kanye West, he thinks big. He's always like going for the most grandiose, like, you know, look. Okay, cool. Zykis, thank you for the 10, bro. He says, yo, if J. Cole drops a classic album by the end of this year, the number one spot in rap will be in question, especially if everybody rocks with it. Okay, I'm going to say this. If J. Cole, I'm being hypothetical, if he dropped a Forest Hills Drive type album by the end of this year, I think there would really honestly be a conversation about who's the hottest rapper at the moment. And by the way, I don't think J. Cole has been in that conversation. Like, no disrespect. Like, he's always top three. Like, you know, again, when I'm saying not in the conversation, you know, I think Drake, because these guys are just not as active, Drake's been number one. And we don't even really compare him or whatever he's dropping with Kendrick. We just like, oh, this is just another Drake. But if J. Cole shows that he's down to put out a project, he's already rapping like that. He's rapping like that on First Person Shooter. He's rapping like that on motherfucking Secret Recipe. He comes with a fucking album that's better than arguably every Drake album this year. We might be having a different discussion. Now, granted, I would love if that is even a possibility because it shows that he's down to compete. Whatever I told you about, whether it's J. Cole or even like Kendrick, I don't think them niggas want to compete. I don't think they want to compete with Drake. You feel me? I think they do their own thing. They're on that, you know what I mean? They're on that like new age NBA player shit where it's like not about competitions. Like, I'm on my own path, my own journey. I'm just like, you know what I mean? As long as I'm happy. All right, whatever, man. But if J. Cole did some shit like that, it would be a conversation of who had the best year. I do believe. All right? Let me see. MDH, we read MDH 251. I didn't read this yet. Thank you for the fire, bro. He says, yo, Drake gave his life to music and he's nervous about the end nearing. I'm wondering why he would think it's the end nearing when I think genuinely we're not really even having a conversation like, yo, his run is ending because there's no incumbent. There's no runner-up. There's no second in command, right? Like it's the same two dudes, Kendrick and Cole, and they don't ever seem hungry enough. Obviously, you know, as I said, Cole seemed a little bit more hungry now. So who's like, how could he fall off? Like if you're number one and nobody wants to be number one or nobody's in competition to be number one, even if you fell off, you just fell off from a previous version of yourself, not fell off in the culture. Okay. Chris Jones, he says, all right, we read that already. He says Drake need to kick Yachty out of the OVO lab. Chivalry, thank you for that. You know, I'll be in Florida soon too. Moon Music, somebody named Moon Music donated £5. He says, yo, Joe fumbled that Drake interview. This is your time to get that exclusive act. Well, here's the thing. If you lived, like obviously everybody wants a Drake interview, but if you lived and operated accordingly by saying, if I piss this guy off, I won't get an interview. You're like, I'm going to be honest with you, that's more manipulative because that artist is going to hold the fact that you want to interview over your head and he's going to get you to do whatever the fuck he wants you to do, right? Because he's going to be like, oh, yeah, now we're going to do this interview, So now you're trying not to critique him objectively because you're like, I don't want to piss him off. I want to get this interview. So again, you know, I don't believe in fumbling an interview. Like Drake is gonna interview with whoever the hell he wants to interview with, right? Like did Hip Hop fumble an interview when he went to go do one with Bobby Althorf and Casey or Caleb Presley? No, he wanted to do that. So I don't necessarily think there's a fumble. And by the way, here's the thing too. Joe having his opinion about the album. You know what would be the best interview right now? Sitting down with Joe. Go sit down with Joe. Actually have somebody who is passionate and opposing to what you think. But we've never seen top rappers do that, right? Like, when's the last time Rihanna did an interview? Like, Jay-Z barely does interviews. When's the last time you've seen a hip-hop interview from even, like, Kendrick or Cole, right? So, again, I can't say a nigga fumbled an interview he didn't have. It's different if it was like, yo, Drake said he's doing an interview next week, and he said some wild shit this week. Okay, you fumbled. Briscoe the King, thank you for the 10. He says, yo, Drake album would be more heralded if he would trim it down to 13 to 16. By the way, I seen somebody said that to me. I guess they wanted me to, like, you know, chop the album down or try to create a really good album. I guess that they could see my A&R skills and my taste if we were probably going to take songs from the last year from Drake. But yeah, I do think, you know, 13 to 16, that's the sweet spot for Drake. By the way, somebody says Views, CLB, and Dogs have the same issue. Too many fillers that take away from the greatness of the hits. That might be true. By the way, we should get... Actually, I'll talk about the sales afterwards. Isaiah JP, thank you for the 5. He says, yo, Lil Act should have been in the studio with Drake instead of Yachty. Hey, listen, I'm not saying necessarily me. I do think somebody who is, you know, you can challenge him enough and you also know what peak Drake is. You know what I mean? Because the challenge for Drake is, can you ever, it's like Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt ran that 9.56 or whatever the case is, or 5.8. I would hope that he would be trying to meet that again or break his own record. I don't compare Drake with the field, honestly, for the most part. Jessa Queston. They say, listen to J. Cole's verse on Secret Recipe again and tell me he ain't taking shots at Drake. He's literally talking about older rappers making TikTok music, chasing the youth for relevance. You know, I kind of thought that for a second, but I was just like, why would he be dissing Drake on his own song? Or why would he be dissing? I mean, there's even a part in First Person Shooter. I'm like, but why would he, number one, be dissing Drake on his own song, First Person Shooter? But why then would he be dissing Drake on Secret Recipe with Drake's best friend, Yachty, right? Javon Lee, he says, Gunna versus Drake new albums. What's slapping? Y'all be the judge to that. Big Gucci Dame, thank you for the 5. He says, yo, is Spotify robbing artists with them doing discovery mode and taking 30% of their royalties for that song in exchange for the artists to get more streams? I don't think Spotify is robbing artists. I think Spotify is starting on the future, which is, if these days a label could only promise you that they could possibly influence a playlist to playlist your music, can't you just avoid that by just signing a deal with the streaming services themselves? And even if you have to give them some of the revenue, at least they're incentivized to promote you. And now you don't have to deal with the label, which, by the way, a label is going to take way more than 30%, right? Mohammed Sissay, thank you for that too. He says, yo, no cap, Yachty got to see you on that fade. Why? Hard Deep S, thank you for the 5. He says, Fat D is, by the way, I swore Drake was going to have the album call 4, like the number 4, right? For all the dogs, because the abbreviation of Fat D is crazy, okay? But Fat D is fire. Listen to each song individually throughout the day. Motherfuckers listen to a 1-hour album in one sitting and call it trash. By the way, you know, today's like day 3 or day 4. The album is sounding better than it sounded that night. I'm going to be honest, okay? Okay, cool. We should get into some YNW Melly stuff real quick. I feel like we've been like neglecting that a lot. So let me give you the update on what's going on with YNW Melly, okay? So YNW Melly, apparently there's like so much drama in court. We all know that YNW Melly and also YNW Bortland, they both got charged with pretty much it's like an obstruction of justice, but it's really tampering with witnesses, which is kind of interesting because people are saying, how the hell could YNW Melly be tampering with witnesses when he's incarcerated. By the way, he's also wrote letters to say that he hasn't been allowed phone privileges. So how could a guy with no means or access to the outside world be actually tampering with a witness? And according to what the prosecutors claim, they claim that YNW Melly has been communicating with his co-defendant, which, by the way, that's a big no-no, right? He's been communicating with his co-defendant through another person. So basically on some shit like, yo, I'm going to have another inmate go on the phone, and then I'm going to be next to the inmate type shit, kind of like communicating, but not really communicating. You get what I mean? Because obviously all these jail calls are recorded, and they would use these code words trying to basically, kind of discuss like whatever the plan is. And apparently, according to the prosecutor, they're saying that Bortland specifically was caught red-handed, like DMing. Like the mother, remember that mother that was on the stand that was like, yo, whatever, and people said she was paid off by a track or whatever. Apparently, he was DMing her and, pretty much trying to get her to make sure her daughter was on point if she had to testify. Remember the interview recently that we brought up? Exactly. All right. Let me play a little bit of some of the bombshell, they call it bombshell accusations that flew in court. Here we go.
Your Honor, I believe, based on your body language, with your arms crossed and a scowl on your face, looking at us like we did something wrong, should be much more.
This is really serious.
This is so serious. Why do you think we're all here?
Bombshell allegations in a Florida courtroom on Friday, as lawyers for South Florida rapper YNW Melly allege Broward County prosecutors committed a felony themselves in the rapper's double murder case.
You indicated here that counsel for the defendant believes that there is probable cause that the witnesses under subpoena, the members of the state attorney's office and the elected state attorney to have committed obstruction of justice and attempted witness tampering and felony pursuant to FS 838.022 for misuse of public office due to their actions since October of 2020.
That's what it says, Your Honor.
Okay, so essentially, this is getting ugly, like really ugly. And by the way, I think the gloves has to come off because, this new trial is looming and the state ain't backing down. They still want him to get the death penalty, right? It's not like they're like, you know what, we're going to retry this, but we're going to take the death penalty. No, they're trying to get Melly to be killed. So at this point, his lawyers are taking the gloves off and they're taking it off in their now new pretrial proceedings to hopefully prevent it from getting to trial or the second trial. Now, honestly, they want the judge to be like, yo, there's too much fuck shit going on here, blah, 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 blah. I'm dropping the charges. Melly, you're free to go. No new trial. Now, that's just probably just not going to happen. 2 people are dead. Their family showing up to the last hearing. Like, bro, somebody has to be held accountable for those 2 guys dying, right? So, but regardless, Melly's lawyers are going to still try. So they're trying a few things. First of all, the prosecutors took their gloves off too. They said, well, we're hitting Melly and Bortland with tampering charges, which, by the way, on face value, you wouldn't have to tamper with the witness if you weren't guilty, right? Like, come on, like the mere fact that's just the perception of it. And not saying that you have to be guilty if you're doing witness tampering, because who knows? Maybe you didn't do something and a bitch is lying on you, and you reached out to her like, yo, you really gonna just lie on me like that? My life ain't in the balance. That's witness tampering, right? But you didn't do it, right? So again, not because you're accused of witness tampering means you're guilty, but it doesn't look good, right? So that's A. The B side of it is this, and you're going to hear this kind of like brought up into it. So the prosecutor is hitting with that. Here's what Melly's defense team is hitting with. Number one, there's a lot of unethical things happening. The prosecutor is pressuring witnesses to testify, also to testify in a certain way, which is going to be prejudicial to the defendant. Jamel Demons, a.k.a. YNW Melly, his life is hanging in the balance. They're doing all these underhanded tactics. They're missing deadlines. They're doing all type of stuff. Then they're going to bring up something which I don't know if this has the full hearing. It's called a Brady issue, and that supposedly is, when you're charged with a crime, the prosecutor has to supply what's called discovery. That's what they accused me of having for Tory Lanez, which, I still said I got it from Meg. You feel me? But Yeah, the prosecutor has to give you discovery. What's discovery? Discovery is all the information, whether it's like say you robbed a store, they got you on video, they got to give you the videotape. That you can look at the videotape before you go to court, right? They got to give you all the information that they plan to use as evidence in the case and all the things that are relevant to the case that could be brought up in court. Okay? Now, what happened is that there's a big scandal going on. So the detective, right? The detective in the case, apparently the detective is low-key corrupt. He's been caught doing some weird shit. Also, he was allegedly doing some weird shit in this case too. Basically, like, you got to imagine, how does cases get to court? The police show up, right? Okay. Oh, there's a murder. Okay, let's get the detective in here. The detective is going to try to solve the murder. The detective feel like they solved the murder. They write up arrest warrants and they write up charges or whatever. And then it goes to the DA. The DA's job is to prosecute or at least go through the grand jury proceeding to make sure they could get an indictment, secure an indictment, then prosecute, right? So that's kind of like how all of these law enforcement people work with each other. Like, really, a DA is just a big cop. You know what I mean? It's a cop with a law degree. So what Melly's side is brought into the mix is that, there is some crazy shit happening here, right? And this is what is called a Brady issue. Because the government shouldn't be biased against its citizens, it's trying to prosecute. It's supposed to act in the best interest of the public and in the best interest of finding the truth. Now, some DAs could be like, oh, well, I don't like this nigga, so I got to win. They take it personal. Like, you know what I mean? So now you start cutting corners, you start violating their rights, and because you just want to win, right? That's unethical. That's actually illegal. This is one of the things that came up in Melly's case. The detective was supposedly corrupt, was also coercing people, basically cutting corners to even in this investigation, and has been known to be unreliable or cutting corners in other cases. And what happened is that the DA did not provide that information to the police. No, not to the police, to Melly's team, even though they knew about it, which is a big no-no, which means through the discovery process, you did not give that person their best chance to defend themselves. And by the way, the first trial ended in a mistrial. So now they're saying, we didn't even have all this armed with us for the first trial. They're not following the rules of basically the rules of engagement when it comes to this law stuff. We should throw these charges out. Like, first of all, we think they're pressuring witnesses. Remember, that was a whole big thing. They went for mistrial then. It was denied. Now they're saying it's a lot going on. I hope you guys understand it. But anyway, let me keep playing.
That's right. Very serious allegation.
Very serious allegation. Very serious.
A 10-page motion filed by the defense on September 26 says the state had possession of evidence that would have impeached the credibility of a lead investigator in the case, Detective Mark Moretti. The motion goes on to say the state should have presented the evidence to the defense prior to the trial.
Maybe they should get their own lawyer. Maybe they should take the fifth. But we need to ferret it out.
But before the court could figure it out, Judge John Murphy, the same judge from Melly's first trial, demanded lead prosecutor Christine Bradley be at the hearing because so many of the defense's claims center around her.
Typically, what I do when I have a Brady or some issue about it, the prosecutor who's involved in it tells me, she comes in here, she's got an obligation of candor to the court, and I ask her a question and she advises me as to what's going on and why there's a change, why something like that. But she's not here. This is her case. We spent 2-3 months trying the case originally. It came to a hung jury, but she's not here for this. I don't understand that.
Bradley is eventually brought into the courtroom to testify, but not before the judge hears from the woman, Assistant State Attorney Michelle Boudreaux, who waved the flag reporting concerns about Detective Moretti's credibility.
Okay, so here's the thing. So there's somebody else who's in like the government. It's not like Melly's team found out the cop was corrupt, because they're gonna be like, well, of course you're gonna say the cop is corrupt because he's locking up Melly. They're saying the blame or the accusations of that cop being corrupt came from within the government themselves. So they brought in the woman that, whatever.
Detective Moretti said to Deputy Morrell, you need to say you were here when I served that search warrant. And it was kind of like an awkward moment. Someone described it just kind of getting punched twice in the head. So there's a search warrant that gets served, and I'm like, what's going on? And then the next thing, he's asking this deputy to lie for him. And again, I'm like, like, this isn't, like, I'm in the twilight zone. Like, this can't really be happening.
Here's where the allegations start. In October 2022, Detective Moretti met with Jamie King, YNW Melly's mother. Investigators were trying to determine whether or not she was involved in witness tampering before Melly's case went to trial.
I think that was the detective right here. They just showed the guy flipping through the pages.
Boudreaux was there.
Miss King reached into her purse, and she was fumbling with her phone.
Did you know what she was doing?
You know, it's a phone, so she has this phone. It's, you know, I couldn't tell you what type of phone she had. She was pressing buttons on it.
Robert, what up?
Moretti was saying over and over again, "Don't turn off that phone."
Of course I will.
I knew she was doing something on her phone. I just couldn't swear to exactly what it was that she was doing on the phone. It looked like she was turning off her phone or sending a message or doing something on it. I just couldn't tell. There was a scuffle going on.
Okay, and what did Detective Moretti do?
Detective Moretti physically took the phone from her.
Boudreaux testified that after Jamie King and her attorney left the conference room, Boudreaux says she later overheard Detective Moretti showing a willingness to lie about the phone seizure.
Do you say anything to Moretti?
No, I don't say anything to Moretti. I leave the room. I'm done with the statement. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done investigating this case.
Why?
Because I don't work with detectives that solicit lies.
Boudreaux says she notified Christine Bradley about Detective Moretti's remarks right after they happened and learned Bradley called an internal affairs investigation into Detective Moretti, who claimed he was joking. Christine Bradley testified next and gave her own account of what happened.
That Brady notice that I just showed you, you're saying that there are incorrect statements of fact in it.
That is correct.
And the incorrect statement is that you were not told by Moretti that he was joking.
That is correct. The indication has always been, and if it was inartfully conveyed in some point, the indication has always been that Deputy Gorell responded in a very flippant manner when asked about showing up.
Flippant manner to whom?
To Detective Moretti.
Does he say that in his court report, Gorell?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So the flippant matter came from Moretti, and somehow you communicated that Moretti said it was a joke. Is that what we're putting together?
I did not.
Okay, chat. I'm gonna introduce another angle, and by the way, I can't stay too long. I actually gotta go do a off the record episode soon. Hold on. There's so much things to be at play here, and this is why I'm so happy the fact you guys tuned into me. But this is where I think we have the best streams, where we get to break shit down. So there's a lot of shit going on. I don't know if y'all caught this, right? So she is the county top DA, right? Or maybe assistant. I don't know if she's the county top DA, but she's the DA prosecuting for Broward County, right? The person who is undermining her is the other woman. Is this other woman here? Wait, hold on. Is this other woman here? That's the state's attorney. Think about this. Hey, I don't have to hear much to know this is a play that other girl don't take her job. That's how it goes, Chad. Like, you go up the ranks, right? Like, you're assistant DA, right? You're ADA, then you go up the ranks. You're hopefully, by the way, these are elected positions at this point. You're now a district attorney, right? These are all elected. Then a state's attorney, also elected, right? But here's the thing. This could be a political play that she keeps her job and basically throws this other woman under the bus by saying she's not a good DA because she's working with a cop who I know lies. So basically, she's saying, I wouldn't have taken that detective shit serious because that nigga was begging somebody to lie. She took that nigga's statement serious, which, again, I don't think this state's state attorney, I don't think she cares about Melly. She just don't like this bitch. That's what it is, man. Yo, this is like House of Cards, bro. You know what I mean? People are playing their own games. This woman wasn't in court. The judge drags her into court to answer to these claims. Mad drama. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, Melly's life is hanging in the winds or whatever, but there's a lot of other plays happening. Why all of a sudden you come in this very big high profile case? Keep in mind, this case is being televised. Why do you come in this high profile case to accuse the lead detective and accuse the DA of the county of basically kind of doing something that's very serious, which means they're trying to prosecute a case knowing that people are lying? Obviously, they had some hearings about that. Apparently, the DA is going to say, oh, no, he said he was joking, so he wasn't a lie. She's saying, I never heard nothing about a joke. That nigga lied.
Boudreaux says she notified Christine Bradley about Detective Moretti's remarks right after they happened and learned Bradley called an internal affairs investigation into Detective Moretti, who claimed he was joking. Christine Bradley testified next and gave her own account of what happened.
That Brady notice that I just showed you, you're saying that there are incorrect statements of fact.
That is correct.
And the incorrect statement is...
Okay. So, chat, let me also bring this into play. I'm going to give you another example. Remember, we ghetto lawyers. So let's not, but I'm going to make this shit matter relatable too. Remember in Tory Lane's case, the initial lead detective in Tory Lane's case allegedly was arrested for domestic violence later on. Like, he beat his girl up, so he got arrested for it. Now, this is what comes in as a Brady issue, right? That detective was not used by the LA County DA because they would have to supply, even though, I think they were in pretrial hearings kind of arguing that to say, well, if he's locking up somebody for domestic violence and he was accused of domestic violence, ain't that something that we should be able to argue in court, that this motherfucker also beat women? How the hell he gonna be able to judge other people being, you know what I mean? And what happened was they basically, the prosecutors kind of iced out that detective. It's like, all right, fuck, we can't really use you, bro, right? Because if we use you, we have to give Tory's team evidence, or maybe even fight that fight where they're going to use your past against you to invalidate you. And if they didn't supply all that, that would be called, quote unquote, a Brady issue, right? If it was supposed to be allowed, which means you're not being fair with the information that you're getting, and you're selectively giving them shit that they can't use or they can't defend themselves properly with, right? So here's the thing. In this case, the detective, which is this guy, I'm going to show you his face. The detective, which is this guy, he's already a state's witness, or he's a witness for the DA. So him being a witness for the DA, all of these things should have been known to the defense before the trial. So that's why they're making a big stink about it, right?
What happened?
That Brady notice that I just showed you, you're saying that there are incorrect statements of fact.
That is correct.
And the incorrect statement is that you were not told by Moretti that he was joking.
That is correct. The indication has always been, and if it was inartfully conveyed at some point, the indication has always been that Deputy Gorell responded in a very flippant manner when asked about showing up.
Flippant manner to whom?
To Detective Moretti.
Does he say that in his court report, Gorell?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So the flippant matter came from Moretti, and somehow you communicated that Moretti said it was a joke. Is that what we're putting together?
I did not say that Moretti said that he had made a joke in any way, shape, or form.
Panicking.
So you've never made the statement.
Yo, this is a DA that was grilling everybody. She's getting grilled now by Melly's lawyers.
Moretti said he was joking.
My statement was, at all times, and if it was ever not clear or misinterpreted by whoever was listening to it, was that Deputy Gorell made the statement that was of a flippant nature.
Judge Murphy decided the allegations presented in court Friday were sustainable enough to call another hearing where the defense plans to call Prosecutor Bradley back to the stand, Detective Moretti, and the district's top state attorney, Prosecutor Harold Pryor.
Jury selection from...
Ooh, so they say pretty much bring in the person. So that woman, this woman here, so she's one of the state attorneys. So the top person in her office is going to be commenting on that. This is a huge ethical issue. You know, this is a huge ethical issue. And by the way, you know why they got to bring up this? Because let's say Melly, you know, and by the way, this happens in a lot of these cases. It also happened in the, it didn't really happen in the Tory case as much, but these are seeds you have to plant in case Melly loses a trial. This is going to open it up to obviously appeal, right? Like you're more likely to get an appeal when, even if they rule against this, or even if Melly loses a trial, you were like, yo, I think there's some fuck shit happening right here. I'm just going to let y'all know, put this on the record, fuck shit right here, whatever. And I think this is why they're making a big stink about it, because this is such a big deal that, shit, y'all intimidating witnesses as the cops. Y'all have detectives that's lying. Y'all not serving warrants or following court orders as you should to get this investigation done. Look like it's sloppy. Look like at this point, y'all have a botched investigation with not enough evidence that should have not even got him indicted. Now y'all are trying to convict him off of it, and he has a life sentence or a death sentence hanging over his head. Maybe they say, bro, but we don't know yet. Anyway, the last thing I'm going to cover, and by the way, I do have to run. I'm going to be back later. You feel me? But the last thing I had to show you was this. So there was some text messages that leaked, right? And let me just read it right here. It says the state filed a 36-page arrest paperwork and warrant image, right, on the added witness tampering charge for YNW Portland that led to found probable cause with Broward clerks over the weekend. Among the pages are screenshots of images of an Instagram conversation between Portland and state witness Felicia Holmes. Holmes was treated as a hostile witness in Melly's first trial. By the way, that's the mom of Melly's girlfriend, Mariah, right? It says that trial was led to a mistrial. Let's read the messages. Here we go. So this is on Instagram, which, by the way, like, yo, Portland. I know you wasn't locked up, but I ain't gonna lie, Portland was DMing me. Like, Portland didn't give two fucks. You get what I mean? Portland, you can't be on the gram like this, dog. So apparently this is Felicia Holmes to Portland. Says here there, I may have a cousin in Atlanta. What? Drop no, I don't think this is the mom. This is somebody else to Portland. Hey there, I may have my cousins in Atlanta. Drop Melly herpes infested Redbone. He needs to check her nasty HIV infested ass. He says, chill, ma. He says, I'm calm for now. Or that person said, I'm calm for now. And then they says, you a duck. Melly, is this the one with Felicia Holmes? Maybe. You a duck. Melly didn't even fuck with you like that. I watched him leave you in the club. While Project beat your ass. You dumb as fuck. She don't need blood money. Okay? The lifestyle living gonna be blessed by God. Leave my baby alone. She don't give a damn about Melly. And if she did, she'll testify on his ass and yours too. If I call that prosecutor and tell them I've been in contact with you and you fucking with my child, your ass going in. Melly is snake, and just like he did Sack and Juvie, his mom, and something, you next. God don't bless mess. That's devil money. So that's devil money. So leave her the fuck alone. Don't mention her because she don't mention y'all. Y'all act like a bunch of bitches. Shut the fuck up and get money before somebody slump your ass. What the fuck? That's how the mom talking? These niggas talking about murking y'all and y'all focus on my child. If she told on Melly, his ass would be getting the death penalty. Y'all keep fucking with her and fucking with her and he will, or it should be she will. Fuck Jamie. Fucked out, long mouth, long cock ass, and fuck y'all. We don't need shit from him. Karma. And there's another one. It says, just leave her alone. Y'all have ruined enough lives. Let her live hers. She don't need his money. She always lived the good and continue. Melly not the only nigga with money. And at least I know she won't be harmed. He's evil and he's a snake someone who didn't snake him. Karma, my baby blessed because she done nothing wrong to any of you, but y'all keep bothering her. She could have ended Melly months ago. Melly's slow. My bad. He's talented, but he has no brains. You don't cross everybody and think your life gonna be great. He's only loyal to you for one reason. You beneficial. As soon as you stop, he'll snake you too. We gonna get the last laughs. So y'all enjoy y'all money and we'll enjoy ours. Then she continued by said, now you catching on. You shouldn't worry or speak on my child. Focus. Somebody shot your pops. Them niggas gonna kill y'all asses. What the fuck? I don't know what that is. It said, my daughter didn't tell on Melly. My daughter didn't tell on Melly or he would never get out. He hypothetically told her everything. Oh, shit. She knows what you know. He told her the morning of, he told her the morning of at blah, blah, blah house. I guess that's Track's house. Whose house did they go to? Fredo Bang's house. It's Fredo Bang's house, right? She didn't tell them people what he told her, or there would have never been any getting out for him. But since y'all gushing for her or gunning for her and she's scared for her life, let your boy know everything he told her at the house. I know. I'm going to make her tell. She hasn't been subpoenaed yet, but after they hear this story, she will be. Melly slow. She had his back. She told what they already knew, but the shit he told her, ... And FYI, her dad will be home in 30 days, so any of the goons you send this way to fuck with mine, he gonna send 5. Melly ain't want to play dirt. Melly want to play dirty? Well, tell the lawyer we know shit they don't even know, and we have decided to cooperate. He dogged my child when she kept his secret. Now all the gloves are off. What the fuck? Then it says something humble, sweet and loyal. Y'all ass would never tried me like that. That nigga would have had to pay me for that secret. But she not that money hungry. She was loyal to a man she thought loved her. And look what it got her. So y'all send them goons. What the fuck? Says, I'm letting you know he confessed. He said, I'm letting you know he confessed. Is that in paperwork? He told everything, and we know. So I'm going to go to the detective. No, we told what we thought happened. Drive by. I didn't know the logistics until my daughter hypothetically told me. Sack was asleep. All she got to do is testify, cooperate. And since y'all think he did, let's tell what Melly really did. What he really told her upstairs in Fredo Bang's house. Oh, I'm testifying. I wasn't, but I damn sure is now. He lied. He was with them. He told me he was that morning. I talked to him. Shit. Did I tell them he was with them? I think they should know that he was in that car. He said it. He said you and him both were in there. I woke Jamie up that morning. He called us first, little homie. It's okay, my phone. It's okay, my phone, little dude. All I gotta do is give it to them. Oh, it's all in my phone. Yeah, right? Now I thought you were smarter. I'm on some hide these niggas. What? I'm on some hide these niggas type shit. How y'all try mine. I want them white folks to put all y'all involved somewhere real nice. Enjoy it. Let's see. Enjoy it. I know y'all going to prison, and I'm going to do what I should have been did. I know that much because you already know. You was there. If that nigga was going to get out, he would have been. They ain't playing with the double homicide. This Florida. If he would have humbled himself, tried to change his life and be a better person, God would have intervened. But the constant nastiness, God don't bless mess, and y'all messy and petty to be men. Holy shit. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know who's responsible of paying this woman off, but they need to get the payment ready. Hurry the fuck up. because it's the second time she's been caught on some electronic communication, admitting to knowing more than she's saying on the stand, admitting to say she'll tell the truth if she doesn't get compensated. Now, those messages weren't allowed in court, but now they're reintroducing these to be allowed in court. And I know Melly's team is going to be fighting like hell, because this is pretty much saying, yo, I'm not being truthful. I'm not telling the truth. I know he was there. Everything I've said that he wasn't or I didn't know is to the contrary. I'm lying. And by the way, here's the thing. I know some of y'all think she may have flipped. Unless she gets a deal from the DA that will absolve her from perjury, she can't admit to this now. Like, what she said in this message would be the definition, the standard playbook definition of perjury. You said the opposite. You said you didn't know. You said these information, or he didn't tell you this. Now you're saying, yeah, I said that, but he did tell me. That's the definition of perjury. You'd be going to jail. But a shrewd prosecutor might say, hey, we're not going to prosecute you for you lying on the stand in the first trial as long as you tell the truth right now. You give us the truth right now, all is fair, right? Again, I do believe money is involved in all of this. I'm gonna try to keep it neutral and be like, maybe she's capping or this and third, but bro, look at these messages, dog. Like, what type of shit is this? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Bortland's always like the wild card in the situation, because I don't see what Bortland gets out of this. They're still trying to get Bortland for accessory to murder. And I guess he's tying his freedom to Melly, because if they can't prove Melly did the murder, he can't be an accessory to a murder they couldn't prove, right? However, I'm pretty sure even if they think he's really an accessory, bro, they would just say, we're not going to charge you. Just testify Melly. You're in the car. You're the only live person in the car other than Melly, and we think he did it. If you testify, we drop all your charges. So clearly he's holding Melly down heavy, and I think he's holding down so crazy that, like, yo, he's kind of low-key threatening people while Melly's locked up. Like, or not threatening people, but he's having these conversations with people. By the way, I'm going to see if I can find more screenshots for later on when I stream to see if we can find what he said a little bit more. But it looked like these are messages from Felicia Holmes, though. It looked like Melly has some other girlfriend that's probably trying to harass them. So apparently Melly had mad bitches. So he has another girlfriend that's trying to harass him. And they're like, yo, listen, man, y'all are fucking with us and we don't like it and we've been holding it down. But if you don't want us to hold it down, we'll go in. We'll really get y'all niggas locked the fuck up. Again, this is going to be, I think this would be a punch to the rib and a punch to the gut if it gets allowed in court. Melly's lawyers are going to fight like hell to keep this shit out of court. Okay? Bortland, get off Instagram, brother. And, obviously you ain't going to be on Instagram now because they just locked you up. But he was on house arrest, and to keep it real, I think him on house arrest may have done something for his psyche because, clearly, they want Melly. So him being on house arrest, he probably had a more positive outlook to it. But it also probably allowed him to probably think that he was not being monitored and probably have these conversations or talk about the case like they can't subpoena your Instagram messages, whether in Vanish mode or not. So we'll see. Chat, yo, I got to run. I literally have to run. I'm so sorry. I got to go run. I have to go do a off the record podcast. I will be back very shortly. And expect another stream today, okay? If you guys have more topics I didn't get to, did I read all the donations? I think I did. Yank the Tank, he says, if you make music one way, people say there's no growth. You make music with new flows. They said stick to your old cadences. You can't win. I disagreed because I think Nicki's still rapping since like she's in 2012. I want her to update her shit. I just don't want her to be sound like Ice Spice. You get what I mean? There's a middle ground. There's always a middle ground, people. All right, chat. Let me go get what I gotta go do done, and I will be back to y'all. Thank y'all so much. Another successful stream. I gave y'all 2 hours and 45 minutes. I'll be back later on. All right.